dun, 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 dun. Welcome everyone to News on the Flip Side. I hope y'all are having a great evening. I know we have a big American audience for this show. We have a worldwide audience as well, but Jeffrey, where are you? You know what? I'll try to open Pal Talk in a minute. Yeah, I'll see if it's going to be.
Please allow me to introduce
Oh my
myself.
God! Listen to his. We got a weirdo with this man.
Jack Nicholson.
Oh Lord, hey Jeff, how are you, buddy? Good to see you, man.
I'm alive, sort of. Half
Good to see
cyborg
you,
now,
Jeff.
but I'm alive. Thank you.
Jeffrey is the host of Church of Mavis, guys. Y'all cut him a break because he was on before us tonight.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Oh
We
yeah,
just-
Oh no, he is. He's the one I call the asshole liberal. Yeah, that's him. Jeffrey.
We just had I
Jeffrey
know
knows I
asshole,
love him.
asshole liberals that want insurance for everybody. Terrible.
I know. We
Oh, kill
Oh
them.
no, Jackie, no. Jeffrey and I go way back. Actually, as liberals go, Jeffrey's. No, he's not a moderate liberal, but compared to his ex co-host, he's a moderate liberal. Yeah.
I was for Bernie. I think most.
So, hey, Joe, the only newest one I can see is Baby Trump takes Melania on a date to the spa. I think we've seen that one.
Oh, don't worry about it. Then
No, that's
we'll find
old.
some-
That's old.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had seen something with Santa Claus or some shit the other day. Jimmy, we're talking about the Baby News Network. Yeah, we like to play this stuff because some of that stuff is hilarious, like the ghost of the Ayatollah. That was just hilarious.
Oh God.
Yeah,
Um,
that was a good one. That was.
They want they had done one with the guy from Venezuela being electrocuted, but I think YouTube made him take it down. Well, he hasn't been electrocuted yet to start off with, but still.
Did you know there's a new Faces of Death movie? I haven't seen it yet. I heard it sucked, but from reviews, but still interesting. I grew up with those movies and they traumatized me. It's probably what's wrong with me right now. Is those
Oh
movies.
no. We know what's wrong with you. No.
What's
It's
that?
you were hang you know Bernie Sanders was your uncle. We
Yes.
know all about it now.
Oh,
Should I tell my
Uncle Bernie Sanders.
Uncle Bernie, baby. He's Uncle Bernie.
caught up in a unsolved mystery soap opera this week with Tom
Yeah.
Reed and Tom Warren.
Yeah. Tell him about it. Well, we got time.
Basically, Tom Reed came on my show, and he's a friend of mine, but I hadn't spoken.
But wait, tell him who Tom Reed is because this is a news
He's the guy,
audience.
Berkshire's UFOs, Unsolved Mysteries, the new Unsolved Mysteries on Netflix, and the Berkshire's UFO. So basically, Tom Reed's on my show, and it's the craziest thing because he's in the Berkshire's UFO situation that's on Unsolved Mysteries. And the weirdest thing is he's showing me all this paperwork. And from the Massachusetts governor, there's a signed paper saying that the Reed incident was an alien off-world incident or an off-world incident.
Yeah.
So it gets really bizarre. But apparently Tom Reed has beef with a guy named Tom Warren. And after that show, I wake up the next day and Tom Warner is going crazy on my wall and in my inbox. And the next thing you know, I'm on the phone with him and I'm caught up in a Unsolved Mysteries menage a trois between two people at war from Unsolved Mysteries. A long time ago, I had that happen with Travis Walton and Steve Barnes calling my house, and it was really weird. I felt like I was in the Fire in the Sky soap opera, but this was Unsolved Mysteries. Anyway, it's crazy. It's two people basically at war with each other, and you'd have to listen to the Church of Mavis show to get Tom's Reed side. And then I told Tom Warner that he can come on and tell his side, and I'm trying to not take sides. It's basically just so complicated. My stoner brain can't even comprehend most of it because it's insane. Listen to it. It's really insane. It's like an HBO documentary, Neighbors Gone Bad. It really is. It's horrible, but
Jesse, Thomas Reed's been on a network a lot of times, but not really anything recent. Jeffrey's probably got the most recent interview. Other than that, it's probably been 6 or 7 years, maybe even 10 years since he was really because ufology is not like that. In ufology, you're only as relevant as your last thing you've done. No, it doesn't matter who you are. You're only as relevant as your last thing. So the longer your last thing goes without something new happening, the more you fade away because the conferences only want the people that can draw audiences. Yeah. Who, me? No, I'm not really a ufologist. Well, I don't chase UFOs to start off with. No, so I'm not really a ufologist. I'm more of someone who looks into special events. Yes, like why did Jeffrey get probed? Why was it Jeffrey that got probed? You know, it could have been Jay, could have been Sean. Why was it Jeffrey that got probed?
Tonight it was him. Yeah.
I got
You know,
yes.
it's just so one of them things. Billy, no, Tom Reed's okay. He's a little weird, but he's okay. No,
I know to him in 16 years. The last time I interviewed him with Travis Walton, so I got I definitely got a refresher course in it all. Last month.
Well, no, Tom Reed's probably, like I said, he's been on network a lot. Travis has been on more though. Travis is.
Yeah,
we
he was a guest on my show one time.
Well, we did a collector set on Travis. We took the 5 top shows on the network, and they each invited him on, and all the hosts got together to make sure every show he went on, they asked different questions, and that way, when he was stunned, he didn't even know how to act. He said that it never ever happened to him because we were asking questions questions he's never even thought about. He's like, shit. It's but that's the difference between having researchers be host and just host. No, Jackie, half our network hosts are research. They were denser in the old days than they are today, meaning that there was more of them that were researchers. Now, today we have a mix of professional hosts and researcher hosts. Yeah. It's just how it is.
My guest tonight was friends with Stanton Friedman, and we got to hear Stanton Friedman's stories. That was a cool thing.
Oh, Stanton was great. I tell you what, some of his best stories. Now, he was shocked one night when I was still hosting Wake Up USA back then. When I asked him, I said, "Stan, aren't you a nuclear scientist, nuclear physicist?" He said, "Yeah, but I'm not a PhD." I said, "I didn't call you a doctor, Stan, did I?" He said, "Oh, okay." I said, "Well, what did you do?" And we got into this conversation about nuclear aircraft. Oh my God. For me and him and anybody who's into science, it was a fabulous show. For everybody else that was waiting to hear us talk about UFOs, it was probably boring as all hell. But hey, it was. I mean, you learn stuff about and he was just stunned because he said, "Joe, I've been doing interviews for 20 years. No one's ever asked me that before." I said, "Well, we pride ourselves on asking questions nobody else does."
Yeah, go ahead. Oh, I was just going to say my interview with Stanton Friedman, we did those chat room interviews. I think you even did those where there was no audio, and I had to stay on the phone with him during it. So, because he had to just sit there and type the answers. There was no audio. It was like an old school AOL. Yes. I can't believe I've been around that long. Like for 51, I look pretty good, I guess. It's the Capricorn. It's the Capricorn. No, 51.
When Jeffrey asked me to do that interview, I'm like, "You want me to do what? You want me to type? You got to be getting stupid, man. I don't fucking type." People be going, "What the fuck is this guy saying, man?"
Somehow me and Jeremy Vaney started doing those. Now me and him hate each other.
But you know what? But that's a weird thing because they were on the network in the old days. Him and his partner were on the network, and I don't know. One day he just called me up, flipping out like a madman. I was like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" And he's like, I said, "You know what? You fucking fired. Get off my network. It's my show." I said, "I know it's your show. Get the fuck off my network with it. You're gone." And he was like, "What?" I was because he lost his mind. I don't know what happened. I still to this day don't know what flipped him off.
That was Jeremy Vaney. The weirdest thing that happened to Church of Mavis on your network was Paracast. One of our first shows with Guy Weddle, David Biedney quit and went after Gene Steinberg for being a con man, and that's a big crazy story. It's on YouTube under David Biedney, Sympathy for the Devil, Church of Mavis. But I didn't even know David, and he came to me out of nowhere to be interviewed, like weird. Like I didn't know him I didn't even know who he was. And that was a big one that kind of launched us off. That was really weird. But David, he's dead now, by the way. He used to work. He used to work for Apple. Like he's in like weird Apple graphics, like weird, crazy programming stuff.
A lot of these people are dead now. It's kind of weird.
It is.
You sit down and start looking how many years. Denise, I personally had done more than about 40 interviews with Stanton Friedman over 20 years. But he had been on the network way more than that. Dee Andrew loved him. She was a big Roswell cracker, man. Her and him and Kathleen Marjorie would get on there and have like a love fest. It'd drive me crazy. It's actually Dee was a damn good researcher, and she was my she was the national director for a long time for ICAR because she was my honesty. She's the one who made sure I didn't get into shit I shouldn't be involved in. And November Hansen was the one who dealt with any cases coming in that were children related. because no, I had a rule. If you were under 21, I didn't even want to talk to you. If you're like you were part of the organization and you were like 18 and you were with your parents, yeah, I'd talk to you. But other than that, no, I didn't deal with kids. It wasn't my job. I was an international director. I was the big boss. Still in the big boss. Don't. It's not my job. It's Jay's job now.
Yeah.
Jay and Sean get that job. What was that, Chris? Oh, we got all kind of news for the night. You mean Uncle Trumpy? So, Jack, you start on me all the time about Uncle Trumpy and Uncle Obama and Gay Jay. Gay Joe Biden. So I don't even know what to tell you anymore. Wait, let me finish. We had 16 years. We had the last 16 years, right? 12 of those 16 years belonged to Obama and Joe Biden, and they sucked beyond belief. So don't bitch at me about Trump. I'm not saying
We're still
Trump is
digging out
innocent.
from that
Look.
tremendous.
Y'all misunderstand me,
Yeah.
okay? I did not vote for Trump in any of the 3 times he went. Now I like Trump for a lot of reasons, mainly just because he's a dick. It's just one of his better factors. That's one of the reasons I like him. But that, and he has done a lot of positive things for the country. And he makes all my liberal friends fucking nuts. So that's worth it in itself. He also makes most of my conservative friends so that's worth it as well too. I'm a centrist, Bruce. Yeah. I started out.
It seems the only people that aren't bothered by Trump and what Trump does are the guys in the middle.
Yeah,
that's most of the country.
Jack, no, I started out as a hardcore Democrat because my parents were hardcore Republicans, and then somewhere in my 30s, I switched to Republican. And after about 10 years of them, I realized they were just
you voted party. You voted.
I voted party. And around 40 years old, I switched to centrist and have
same
never
way in my family, Joe. We voted Democrat because it was party. That's how they did it.
Yeah. So, but now I'm a full since about 38, 39 years old. I've been a centrist, and I like it like that because I'm first off, I'm an equal opportunity hater. I can hate on my liberal friends. I can hate on my conservative friends. I can hate on them in politics because they both deserve it. And as far as centrist goes, centrists, unfortunately, sometimes centrists are too pollywog, too wanting to be too center. It makes them ineffectual sometimes when they want to balance it. It's kind of like, when you're dating a girl who was a roller derby queen and she decks you once a week, but you still stay there because you love being decked. It's kind of the same thing.
I resemble that remark.
I wasn't even talking about you either. Damn. No, Jeffrey. Jeffrey's got weird taste in women's on him. Since I've known him, four girlfriends, 3, 4.
Don't bring up chicken lady.
3. Oh Jesus. No.
Do you know I dated a Bud Hopkins patient and she lived with me and she turned into a total creep and I'd throw her out.
Oh, Lord.
That's all you want. Yeah, I think I actually remember that.
I'm not going to say her name for lawsuit reasons.
Yeah, that's a good idea. No, Mike. It gets weird. Well, if you're gonna get all pissy about Iran, you got to bitch at Obama, not Trump. Trump's not the one that sent 4 pallets of money in the middle of the night in 11 different currencies to a fucking terrorist regime. Give me a break.
No, technically, though, if you really want to nip the problem in the bud, Carter and Reagan really dropped the ball first. If they had stomped on this problem 47 years ago, it wouldn't be at the top of the news today.
Yeah. Well, Reagan couldn't have because the country didn't want him to be involved. You mean today, Jack? The country don't want Iran to have nukes. And frankly, the Middle East is turning into all these new coalitions. It's uniting in a way it never has before. And poor Iran is being left out in the cold because nobody wants to do business with them. Yeah, they're like the kid that ain't had a bath in a year. Nobody wants to talk to.
Well, they've been bullying everybody for 47 years, including their friends.
Yeah. Well, Saudi just cut a deal with Pakistan and Turkey. Yeah, they got a 3-way. Oh no, it's a protection pack. Yeah, Turkey, Pakistan, and Saudi Arabia. Well, Pakistan and Turkey both have big militaries. Saudi has a pretty big air force, though, and because they get it from the United States, it's fairly state of the art.
And they all have nukes.
Saudi don't have nukes.
I think they do. Hey,
Do they
Google,
check?
does Saudi
Yeah.
Arabia have nukes?
I know Pakistan does.
Saudi Arabia does not officially possess nuclear weapons and is a signatory.
No, but
to
we
the
have
Treaty
nukes on their
Non-Proliferation
property.
of Nuclear weapons.
Yeah,
I
well,
think.
we did.
While there has been
Hey, Google, stop.
speculation.
Yeah, and that's the same thing with Turkey. We got nukes there, but they don't have them. It's no, Jack. I think there's 8 countries that have nukes. There's only 2 countries that matters though. It's the United States and fucking Russia because we got 11,000 between the 2 of us. Yeah, way more than enough to level the fucking planet a couple of times over. China, last I checked, had 800. The rest of the countries fluctuate between 80 and 400. Israel has way more than enough nukes, I think 100 to flatten out the Middle East. And no, actually,
9 countries.
9 countries. Okay, so I was off by 1.
9 countries, yeah. United States,
Dude.
Russia, France, China, United Kingdom, Pakistan, India, Israel, and North Korea.
Oh, okay. On North Korea bullshit, I don't think they got them yet. Okay, I was wondering why there was an.
They have the warheads. They just don't have missiles that function correctly yet.
Yeah, I don't know. According to the whatchamacallit commission, the nuclear commission, they said they haven't found a detonation. And
This is coming from the USCS Organization Union of Concerned Scientists, Nuclear Weapons Worldwide.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. The Nuclear Regulatory Commission that monitors nuclear blasts around the world said they haven't seen one in North Korea yet. That's what I was saying.
Like I said, I believe they have the warhead technology. They just don't have working missile technology yet, so they don't technically have it. They're like halfway there.
No, Jack. Yeah, no. South Korea says they haven't exploded one either. Look, okay, let me explain this to y'all right off the bat. As far as the United States and South Korea goes, they don't think any nukes have been exploded on North Korea. Now, let's not forget, there's a massive fucking ocean there. Okay, as long as it's not a bed nuke, in other words, as long as it's not on the bed, it's not going to register on a large seismic scale. Especially if it's, say, in a 7-mile deep ocean and they send it down a mile and a half, it's not even going to, the pressure going down will stop it from even hitting the ground.
No, but our atmospheric detectors would definitely pick up any significant explosion like that.
Maybe.
No, they would.
No, because we don't patrol everything. There's certain parts of the ocean we're not even worried about. There's nothing out there. That's why we couldn't fight.
Sure we've got an eye on North Korea.
Yeah, but North Korea may not have, that's what I'm saying. They may not have done it in their territory. Remember those nukes that the U.S. went missing? They ended up on France's coastline. So that's what yeah.
Imagine that.
Oh, Jack, they call them broken arrows. Yeah, that's what the movie was made for. Yeah, broken arrow. Believe it or not, there has been far more than fuckers go missing than nobody wants to talk about.
We were shocked when we did that.
Yeah.
Let's do it again. Hey, Google, how many broken arrow incidents have there been in the United States?
The Pentagon officially confirms 32 broken arrow incidents in United States
32
history
people.
involving nuclear weapons.
32.
While there are reports suggesting additional accidents, these 32 represent the total acknowledged by the Department of Defense.
And how many were recovered?
Hey, Google, of the 32 broken arrows, how many have been recovered?
Of the 32 acknowledged broken arrow incidents, 6 nuclear weapons remain lost and unrecovered.
6 lost.
The other 26 incidents were either successfully recovered or involved scenarios where the weapon was not lost in a way that required recovery.
Hey, Google, how many nuclear weapons does France have? It's 6. We know where they went.
No, they got more than
France
6.
is estimated to possess approximately 290 nuclear warheads.
They got a few.
Arsenal
Hey, Google,
is
stop.
maintained under-
Yeah, I'll bet you that number is actually 290.
Wait,
It's
Thank you for that update. I've noted the current estimate.
Hey, Google, stop.
I'm lost. I'm lost, dude.
What are you
I am
lost
so
about?
lost on this shit.
What are you lost about? We're just talking
We
about
weren't even
nuclear.
talking Star Trek this time, Sean.
I know that. Well, no, still, I mean, why now would France? How did France get in the conversation,
Because they have nuclear weapons.
sir? So, I
In
mean,
one of the broken arrow cases, the nukes were found on France's shoreline. Matter of fact, the shoreline is still contaminated today. You can't go there because it's contaminated from America lost nuclear weapons. See, it's amazing that we lost
my
32
God, for me
nukes.
being
32 of them.
Yeah, 32 nukes. I mean, give me a fucking break. How do you lose a nuclear weapon?
Yeah, and then only recover 26 of them.
No, in the early days, B-52s used to fall out the sky all the time, so that's not that unheard of. But today's world, no, shit don't just fall out the sky with nuclear weapons on it.
No, and plus they don't fly with that weight all the time anyway.
Well, why don't you ask what's his name, Hegseth? Ask Hegseth. He knows everything.
You know, I think that
I'm sorry, I'm miserable tonight, guys.
Pete, you know, with Pete,
sack.
Yeah, Pete Dicksack. I mean, no, I hate Pete. I love you, dude, but I really feel like half the time you're sitting in your office jerking off to the flag. I mean, really, there's just something about you that just rubs me the wrong way.
What is up with this administration? And I can't look at porn anymore.
Well, because you live in Florida, man.
I'm in Florida, but they banned it in Alabama, but they won't let me see it in Florida because my IP's in Alabama. And now every site has it. So there's some you can find through Porn Dude someplace and reroute, whatever. But other than that, everything's age verification. Everything. It's because Christians have taken over our nation.
No, it's not Christians that's taking over.
Really needs to do, though, is either he needs to stay out of the gym or he needs to get a better tailor because his suits
basically saying,
like a size too small.
We don't want you on porn sites, but baby jerky, that's okay.
Yeah. I don't know. What's that, Jeff? No, I mean Jack. What? Alabama's got some weird laws when it comes to porn, but yet they got strip joints in Alabama and they got massage parlors too. I see them all the time when I'm driving through. Oh yeah, so apparently they're not as uptight as they act like they are. It's
the Bible Belt,
well,
but only if you
let me
look
ask you
really
this,
close.
Joe, is Alabama right smack into the Bible Belt?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's right there. It's right next to me. Actually, it's the state.
I'm right next to it.
East of me. Yeah. So Alabama's actually in between Jeffrey and I. I'm in Mississippi. He's in Florida. Alabama's right in between us.
Well, Alabama and Georgia are.
It's technically Georgia's above us. It's
yeah, but I mean,
it's Florida and Mississippi.
Georgia to go over that way.
Mississippi and what? No, Mississippi and Florida are the balls of Alabama. Yeah. Alabama's the dick.
It looks like a Sasquatch penis, Florida. Yeah. Skunk ape.
Yeah. Well, yeah, upside down. Yeah, I guess just hanging.
It's hanging.
Not erect. It's Florida's. It's one hanging. It's not erect. It's just like bent over. You're not hanging. Fucking idiots. All idiots, man.
It's gonna go.
Anyway, I gotta go find some real news.
They say it can get wet.
You mean in Florida? For some reason, Bigfoot doesn't show up in Florida as much. Maybe because of freaking alligators here.
One here.
Never. No. I've been all over Florida, forests, swamps. Don't get me wrong, Florida's got some wickedly big forests. I have been in forests in Florida where I didn't even see a car for 4 hours. Oh yeah, man, it took 8 hours across the son of a bitch at 75 miles an hour. They got some big forests.
It's long across the top, yeah.
The guest tonight said that the Anunnaki are hiding technology in the Everglades, and the orange skunk ape protects it.
Oh my god! Tell them whatever drugs they're doing, they need to share with the fucking.
Give me some.
Yeah, pass that around next time.
Pass it around.
And I saw a comedian the other day that was the nastiest comedian. I'm not going to repeat what he said, but it really surprised me. C.K. Lewis, ridiculous on Netflix. Don't have children around. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh Lord!
It really surprised me.
He's sometimes kind of funny, sometimes not.
He started off saying that he has AIDS. That was his first.
Wow.
It was very vulgar. I think it got canceled at some point, so I think he's getting revenge. And he's doing a good job of it, that's for sure. Because it was the nastiest thing I've ever seen. I loved it.
Freddie B. Caroline, E.T. don't like you. Yeah, E.T. don't like girls. Nah, they think they stink and smell funny and stuff. Yeah, they're just like, ew. They're kind of wondering why humans even have girls. They're kind of like, what is this? This is just weird. No, just fucking with you, asshole.
Oh my god, Joe, grow.
The reptilians and humans have females that are just as pain in the ass as they are. As far as the Greys, they got females. You just can't really tell. It's because they ain't got glands. That's why. Yeah.
Have you met E.T.'s brother, Stinkfinger?
Yeah, only when he's stuck it in somebody's ass. But anyway. No, Jeff brings out the worst in me. I swear.
It's a Capricorn.
We're blaming him for it.
I'm a Capricorn. Everybody says, all the tarot people say I'm Satan, so I have to live up.
You know, there's a club that thinks all Capricorn should be clubbed to death. You better be careful, man.
Go there.
they're like, it's
I might go meatball in there.
Actually, Jack, I got a stepdaughter who's a Capricorn, and one of my really good friends is a Capricorn. He was born. He's actually born in January on the 11th. Yeah, he's not an Aquarius. He falls about 11 days short of being an Aquarius. He's a Capricorn. No, Pisces come after, man. Pisces are nice, sweet people. How's that? We'll leave it at that. Yes. Mm-hmm.
I rarely meet Pisces for some reason. I met
one. You know what? I rarely do too. I dated one once, but
there was this guy, Dan Murakami. I worked at Petco, and he used to tune instruments for Steely Dan. He was a Pisces, and he'd always say, "It's Mercury retrograde." That was the only Pisces I've ever met.
Yeah. No. Oh no, Libras can be wishy-washy. Yeah, because of the scale.
Oh, they are wishy-washy, Joe. Come on.
I am not. I'm the only Libra in the room anyway.
Hey, I was seeing something on TikTok.
Not as bad as Gemini said. Oh my God, the twins.
Oh, no. Gemini, we're psychotic. We are psychotic.
Yes, I won't argue with that. Geminis are nuts.
We are nuts, and we're crazy. But then again, on the flip side, we're the nicest people on earth. So
yes, because y'all are schizoid, splitzoid. That's why.
We are, man.
That was an amazing segue too, Sean. How you got the name of the show into your story? That was excellent.
No, I'm glad that you did that. I'm glad.
All right, what was I doing? I was fucking around with John. Forgot what I was doing. Let's go see some facts here. Let's see if anybody's even close tonight. What, Jack? Oh no, the new APC poll's out. Yeah, I'll talk about it later in the show.
Cumulative. What does that say?
I was going to send it out and I forgot. Hold on, let me get over here where I can actually see what's going on.
How old is that?
Cumulative CPI inflation. So basically, this is the inflation rate for these presidents. But this is basically the last three presidents, last 20 years, right? Yeah.
I thought you were going to say it was their popularity percentage, and they got a couple of decimal points off on all of them.
So, Trump won. They're saying 8%. Okay, Trump won was during COVID, but the highest, if I remember correctly, was like 3.3%.
I think when he came in, it was around 7.97 that he inherited from Obama, and then within the first year, he got it down to like 5 or 6, and then by the end
no. In his first year, he was already down at 1.1, 1.24 or something.
Towards the end, but yeah, I think
no. Towards the end was COVID. In the beginning, his first 3 years, his average was like 1.1, 1.2. That was his average.
After he brought it down to 1.9 from Obama, yeah.
No, when he took it from Obama, it was 4.9, 4.44. When it was averaging somewhere around 1.24, 1.54, somewhere up at.
As I recall, he brought it down from 7.97, which was Obama's last number.
I don't know, but I know
by the end of at least the first or second year of his first term.
In his first term, he was already in the ones. I mean, he was in almost
he was not. He inherited 9% inflation rate from Obama. When Obama in his second term, it was 11% or 12% at the highest. When Obama came in, it was like 3.9.
First off, the highest inflation rate we've had is with Joe Biden at 9%. We're talking.
Obama's numbers were pretty high too, 7 and 8 and whatnot.
Yeah, well, his Obama's numbers were all over the place because they were up and they were down and they in between.
But when he came in, he inherited like a 3 point, like you said earlier, a 3.9 or 3 point whatever that was that he got from. Was it Clinton before him?
But Trump's average over his entire 4 years in his first thing was 2%, exactly 2%. That's even with COVID. It was when you average it all in, because COVID year was high. But when you average in his first 3 years, it was really low. Yeah, because that's what everybody was talking about with Trump. He came in and like in the first 3 months, the economy almost flip-flopped. I mean, it was a major change. gosh,
eggs
Obama didn't know what he
were
was
like
doing.
All right.
$7-8 a dozen.
All right,
back
hold
then.
on. I'm okay. Here's what I typed in. What inflation rate did Trump get from Obama? When
There you
Donald
go.
Trump took office in January 2017, the annual U.S. inflation rate was approximately 1.8% to 1.9%, based on the
Wow.
Consumer Price Index for a 12-month period ending in December of 2016, January 2017. Obama's final year, the annual inflation had risen slightly from near zero levels early in 2015 to just under 2% by the end of 2016. Throughout Barack Obama's two terms, the average annual inflation rate was about 1.46%. During Donald Trump's first term, the average annual inflation rate remained stable at roughly 1.9 before pandemic-era economic shifts occurred later on. There.
Who wrote that? Where did that come from?
I just Googled.
Yeah, but what web page are you on when you read that?
Google.
Google. It gave him the Google spread. You know, when you open it, it comes up at the top.
Yeah, but it's also that's from a website. So if you click on it, it'll tell you what the name of the website
Doesn't
is.
say it was from a web. You know what? This is
that's
an
pretty
AI
close.
overview.
That's pretty close to numbers. That's the numbers I remember when they were presidents. Obama's, I remember his was a little bit higher going across.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. They were higher. Yeah,
but Trump's was really, really low. And now Trump's economy was Trump's economy was far better than Obama's was.
Yeah.
Well, what's Jeffrey have to say about that? What's Jeffrey have to say?
He's pregnant.
What was that again about Obama?
He said,
Obama was just on Larry David's new show about Larry David, Pursuit of Unhappiness, political HBO. It was pretty good. It's funny. They reenact things from history. And Rob Reiner left a special message for Trump in it while he was alive. And there's a special skit in there for Trump. That's really good.
Right. He loves Trump.
Larry David. He does. He loved him. And anyway, it's basically a history show on HBO where they reenact things from history. And it's funny. Samuel Jackson narrates. And it's pretty funny. It's basically Larry David flipping out during certain historical things like the Wright brothers and other things like that. But it was pretty good. Oh, one crazy one on there, Monsters of God. It's about reptilians. It's like Reptilian Tiger King, but not as gay as Tiger King, luckily. Not yet anyway, but basically it's about reptilian poachers. On a new show on HBO. Man, it's crazy. Cobras and some Asian smuggler and the FBI like tracking down all these people and drugs. And it's called God.
They're smuggling reptiles around the planet.
Yeah, Monsters of God. Real, reptiles, not reptilians. Reptiles like cobras and just crazy exotic
earth creatures.
Yeah. Like there was something about iguanas that are from somewhere, and they I forget, Fiji iguanas, and there's like a big thing, and everybody was trafficking them. It gets into trafficking. It's good. It's good. It's just in the first episode, so they're like an hour. There's only one up so far, but basically Tiger King with reptiles.
All right, we're gonna get your China robot. You can dress it up like your favorite girlfriend, and
that's not what it says.
That's what it's going to be about, man.
China vows to take all necessary measures. That sounds like a threat.
It is a threat because the U.S. told them, "Fuck you! You're not selling any of your robots in any of our countries, any of our territories." Europe pretty much said the same thing. Even a lot of Asia said, "Fuck you," because nobody trusts China. We don't know what kind of software they're going to put in these things. China might decide to start a war. You got one of these in everybody's house. Huh? Well, we got your whole population hostage, motherfucker.
There's your fifth column.
Was that the robot with the big booty?
No, not these.
There was one on Facebook with a big booty.
No, Jeff, the robot with the big booty only has 5 buttons. The 5 buttons are cook, clean, suck, fuck, and off.
No.
Wow.
Just all this cussing now. At the church, we don't allow this. So I'm
my freaking virgin ears, man.
Oh, come on. That's a good joke. That's a good sex. That's the only sex robot joke I have. Give me a break.
No, Crystal.
And I stole it from someone else, and I can't remember who.
The chat and News on the Flipside are not rated shows. No.
Yeah.
News on the Flipside
show isn't going off on the radio either, so we're able to do a little bit more adult stuff.
We're not on FM. Yeah. Well,
Church of Davis is rated G because we love the chitlins.
Yes, they no children are allowed to listen to this network. On every medium we have, it says adult only. I mean, there's
like
a lot
you
of
tell me, you tell me that there are not children listening to this show right now.
I can't tell you if there is or isn't.
Hey, my name's Bobby.
They're not supposed to be. If you're under 25 years old and you're listening to us right now, turn the fucking thing off, people. You're gonna burn in hell if you're under 25 and you're listening to this show. Yes.
Fuck you.
And Jeffrey will be your hell master, so you fucking better be careful.
You took that thought right out of my mind there, Joe.
So y'all better be careful, is all I got to tell y'all people. No, this one right here. This is bullshit, is what this is. This is Harvard China links unearthed as Congress finds 140 papers co-authored by the CCP military university. So the Chinese military are sending their papers to Harvard to be published as Harvard papers. And I wonder who's making money off this. You know, somebody's going to be making buku money. I'm pretty sure this is illegal and somebody's going to go to jail over this. Because this is changing our children's minds, you dumbass. They're trying to make them think communism.
Yeah.
Socialism, communism.
It looks like is that a viral picture or is that the actual picture of the school? Because that started
that's
kind of like they're Harry Potter-fying it, so like it draws in.
No, that's the actual look of the school. That's the school itself.
Does that look like Harry Potter or not?
It does kind of. No, it does kind of. I know what you mean when you're saying that.
It's like candifying liquor. It just makes kids want to get it sooner, and then it just causes more problems. That's what's going on there.
Jesse, what are you talking about? Who the fuck are you talking about that's pregnant? You mean Merkel, like the Princess Merkel? No, fuck her. Who cares if she's pregnant? Really? Do you really? Is anything? I mean, Jeffrey might have the hots for it, but everybody else is like, get the fuck out of here, woman.
And what country are we in? I'm in the United States, so I don't know about the rest of the country, but I couldn't give two fucks about the world people. I'm sure they're all nice, friendly people and all, but they're not my president or rulers, so I don't give two fucks about
Jay, you are really at it tonight, man.
I don't care less.
I'm just glad you're not by that. I'm just glad. You know what? I'm glad you're not by that damn launch button right now because
I know
would have launched it, man.
No, I would have been a lot more. I would show more restraint on the nuclear weapons.
But when Jay's smoking sativa tonight.
There are friends, but why? We don't need to spend airtime.
Jay, you need to get the indigo out, Jay. Put the sativa down, man. You need to get the indigo out.
The indica is upstairs.
Put the fucking sativa out, man. Come on, just put this shit out. Yeah, hybrid will work. If y'all don't know what we're talking about there, then you're probably way too young to be listening to this fucking shit.
Yeah, then you're not. You're probably too young to be listening to the show in that case too.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. This next one is. Oh, we got lots of articles. We got lots of clips to play later, but this next one.
They're going on. Did this happen again, or this is the one from 3 weeks ago?
No, this is another one. So, Ukraine drone strikes caused fuel shortages in multiple Russian regions. So, I'm reading about this earlier. They're just like dropping 150, 200. If they see any fuel stations or any fueling depots, they just drop like 50 drones on them at a time now.
Yeah, it's funny as shit. I love Zelensky. He's a child. He's a baby. He's a terrible leader, but I love what he's doing to Russia. It's absolutely hilarious.
It is kind of funny, actually.
That is the most ugliest. That's the ugliest looking building I ever saw in my life.
Jeffrey and I are going there.
That's Obama's building, isn't it? Ugh.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick Jeffrey up in Florida. We're gonna ride up there and see this ugly thing, man.
Hey, do they have some dude at the top of that building that like shouts out the Muslim prayer every 3 hours? Is that what's going on over there?
What's what they do, boy?
I think somebody would drop him off the building.
You know, they have the Georgia Guidestones are in a concrete park, like a concrete salvage yard now, like just abandoned. I saw it on a PBS special.
Really?
Some guy has them. They just like threw them in this concrete yard and he kept them and it's like protecting them. I don't know if they've been moved, but they're just like laying out there.
For the most part, I don't think they were all completely destroyed. I think one or two of them may have survived, maybe a few cracks, but There's a feature. I have to stop and look at it. There's a cemetery behind my neighborhood here in Waynesboro, and at the top of the hill near they have a shed access area where they do all the maintenance and stuff. There's a set of I guess pylons, just like the Georgia Guidestones. I don't know what they are, but they're oddly shaped in the same kind of, like it was like a fanned out pattern. So maybe I'll go check those out, see if they are. Maybe there's a duplicate set.
Yeah, it was crazy, those things, but the guy had them. I guess somebody hauled them off there, and he was like just standing on them in the concrete yard where I guess he did concrete work.
It's crazy that somebody even went to the trouble to blow them up. Why? I mean, they were some idiot rich dude back in the 60s or 70s.
Jay, put me on the screen, man.
You're up.
Depopulation.
Am I on the screen? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's up there.
Wait, what am I
Good
hearing?
sound.
So it seems like the world is counting down to an inevitable clash between the U.S. and China over Taiwan and the South China Sea. China has the biggest navy and army in the world and is vastly outpacing the U.S. and many of its allies when it comes to shipbuilding. But surely the U.S.
Okay. Let me stop and do some corrections here. So independently, China well. In all fairness, on a nation-to-nation thing, China does have the largest navy. As a military enforcement, it does not. NATO and the United States has the largest army, largest air force, largest navy, hands down. And we already have, by the way, our air force is like twice the size of China's, might be 3 times the size.
And all of our military, or most of our military personnel, are, I would say, at least 10 years more experienced in actual combat.
Well, we've got. First of all, we've got the last 50 years all combat. We got combat pilots.
But the current guys that are flying our planes and walking on the ground with guns, they've only got 10, 15 years in. You're not staying in the military for 50 years unless you're a general. So, and that's not a lot of guys. It takes a lot to get up that high. So the guys, their current makeup of our troops now have at least 10 years experience over almost every army on the planet. That's a huge advantage.
You know what, Jay? It boils down to this, though. Our people are smarter than their people. That's the truth.
And we have much more gumption. We have much more intent to live than they do. You mess with us and you get the bull. You know what I mean? You get the horns.
You open the door.
What we got, what the really major difference between the United States and China is we're not going to hesitate. And that's what's going to be killed. Plus, our planes can see so far ahead of theirs that we don't even have to put anybody in jeopardy anymore to blow their shit up. And I'm not even sure how much of these next war won't be fought robotically. There might not even be that many people on the field.
Or by remote, yeah.
Oh yeah, when the deaths come, Jack, it'll be when somebody nukes a city to make a point. Yeah, that's when the deaths will come.
Yeah,
it won't come from soldiers.
And I don't foresee if we get into a scuffle with China, it will just most certainly spark a war, and the planet will split again. But what I think will happen is very quickly we'll decimate their air forces and take out a lot of their navy, but we will not with our current troop forces unless we rally with, I'd say, 70% of the planet. We would not be able to sustain a ground foot war on China's soil. They just outnumber us 5-1. You just can't get past the numbers.
Jay, no.
I know. Jay must not seen Red Dawn, huh? Yeah, he must not seen Red Dawn. That's not how it's going to play out.
I'm talking about us invading China.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
So before we even put boots on the ground, Beijing, Hong Kong, about 12 of their major cities, all of their major bases will be hit with tactical nukes.
Yeah,
all of them will be. So there's not going to be. So what you're going to see is a military about 15% the size of what it actually is. Not just that, a good bit of their equipment is going to be unusable or unretrievable. So it's not going to be just, we're going to go just jump up and fight, because it'll break the back. And it's even worse than that for China, because see, you can't cut America off. We're a self-sufficient country. We've got our own fuel, our own food. We even have our own word.
Well, we're not quite. We got to regain the rest of our manufacturing that we had.
No, we don't. That's why
we're not there yet. We're getting it back, but we don't have.
According to the Colorado plant, we can produce all the rare earths we need in-house. They're already doing it, actually.
Oh well, but still, okay. But still, we still have a lot of manufacturing, other things out there, cars and other platforms we need to be brought back. And I think it was Ford or GM is closing all of their plants in Mexico, and they're starting to build next year. So that at least that industry is coming back to America.
Yeah, but that industry never left America. That's what people don't understand. Those
The
factories are
manufacturing
all
part
still
did.
here. No, but the
The
factories are
manufacturing
still
part
here.
did.
No, but the
Some of
factories
them.
are still here. No, all the factories are still here. All the major
But-
factories are still in the United States, and they're still tooled. So all they got to do is
Agreed.
look at the
But
tools.
the bulk of the big manufacturer, like the body, when you go back 30 years, if you look at a car's sticker price thing on the window, it would tell you this car is 93% parts from outside the United States, and then the rest from inside.
Hey, Heidi.
It's flipped in the last 30 years. It's now.
Oh my God! Hi, Heidi. Good to
Hey,
see
Heidi,
you.
it's only 85-15 now, but 85 of it being here and 15 outside. So it's not all back yet. We're still, like I said, about 15 to 20% of it isn't all back. Once we do that, then we become self-sufficient.
Okay, hold
Right
on a
now, we still
second.
rely on a lot of stuff from China.
Hold on.
Unfortunately.
Heidi says, "Good evening, Joe and Jay. I need to ask your thoughts on something, please."
Oh, yeah.
What is it, Heidi?
Look on live flight radar, she says.
Oh, do I have it on here? Let me see. I might have it on here.
My cell phone's upstairs. I don't have it with me.
Let me see. I might have it on this one.
Heidi, I want you to meet Jeffrey Pritchard. Jeffrey Pritchard, Heidi Gold.
Hello. Hello.
Jeffrey's the Hearst of Chaser Mavis. Heidi.
Yes. Oh, yes. I know her. She comes to our show.
Okay.
I say woe to the inhabitants of the earth. I say woe, dude. That's my message tonight to humanity. I say woe to the inhabitants of the earth. I say woe, dude.
Yeah, oh Lord.
Yep.
Somebody take the bong away from Jeffrey. Just take it away. Put it in his...
tonight.
Heidi says,
I got it. Hang on. Let me find it for you. Let me get it up on the screen. I don't know what she wants us to look at, but I got it, Joe. If you want to pull yours out of there.
I will. Go ahead.
She wants to know, why are there so many flights going into Denver?
They're all coming for you, Heidi.
Basically,
fan club. They're on the way.
I know that there's a place now that keeps up with plane traffic for rich asshole people, that if they're like doing something, like up to something and something bad's about to happen, you'll know because of their like air traffic or something. I forget the name of the site, but the whole thing's based around watching rich assholes to see if we're about to die, like in a 9/11 kind of thing.
Well, you can watch every flight taken off in any airport, even private ones. They have to be labeled. So FCC, if you're in the air without a transponder, they'll come shoot your ass out the sky. They don't give a shit who you are.
Yeah. And if Heidi's worried about the air traffic going to Denver, it's probably nothing. That's just a main corridor from Washington, D.C. If you're worried about like troop movements and that kind of thing, you really want to look near the Savannah, Georgia area, right above Florida. It's Fort Stewart, I believe. That base is the main hub on the East Coast for moving Army forces, particularly our Black Berets. So if we're going to war or there's a conflict about to ensue, that area will have a lot of air traffic.
I don't know. I got to say, these things are great. These live tracker maps are great.
Mm-hmm.
And,
do they actually show the planes moving? I don't see them moving.
Jay got his on, but yeah.
What's that thing going across the screen? It looks like a UFO.
Yeah, it's a UF something or another. It depends what you got, Sean, but a lot of them show live movements. You can click on any one; it'll tell you where it's going, where it came from. Even if it's a classified flight, it'll still usually show you its takeoff point. Might not show you where it's going to land, though.
I remember one time a while back, Heidi had that up, and I think it was over Area 51. There were no planes around Area 51.
Yeah, better not be. It's a no-fly. Yeah, it's a no-fly zone. They'll come shoot your ass out the sky.
Even an unauthorized military plane flying over that will be shot down, even if it's one of ours.
Heidi says, click on one, and it will tell you where altitude, unless private owner.
This is FedEx. 1, 2. That's a FedEx plane. Altitude. It's going from Allentown to Memphis. Why is it going to Colorado? I don't see the altitude. But that's pretty cool. What's this guy? Oh, it's UPS plane. Hey, a lot of freight. That's probably what it is just freight moving. A lot of Amazon orders going east and a lot of Amazon orders coming west.
Oh, wow.
Hey, there's an airport.
That's interesting. That's interesting.
I can't see what she said. I'm on another page.
She said, I have a fae looking in my daughter's bedroom at this moment, too.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Huh. Look at that.
The hell's that?
This is a Delta flight going to Philadelphia. He'll be here shortly. That's cool.
Yeah, these things are great programs. Some are better than others, but the one I use, you can go back up to 2 years and find a flight. You can watch it in live time, or you can go track any flight that's seen. So this, along with the satellite thing, if you're a ufology, somebody chasing UFOs, if you see something in the sky, you can pull out your phone thing, your plane thing, and look at that part of the sky exactly at that time and see if there was anything there. And if there is, you can look and see what it was. If there's not, you can kind of wonder what the hell, but then you can pull up the satellite tracker and see if there was a satellite there. You can also pull up the weather tracker. Those three things right there. If it's not on those three things, then you might actually have something. If there was a physical event and it's not showing up on those three places, which are scanning that area, then you might actually have something.
I tell you what, I'm glad I'm no air traffic controller. I'd be going crazy.
Yeah, I mean, this probably isn't like what they see, but because these things, they disappear and then they reappear. It's kind of scary. It's like, oh, did they just crash? But they're just changing position. So I don't know that this is real time. It may be like, on a delay, 8 second, 10 second, 20-second delay or something.
Yeah. Oh, no, they're cool little programs, yeah.
Well, you know what, Heidi? Honestly, there's been a lot of high strangeness over where I live too. So, it's really weird. It's really weird. It's not in the universe. That's what's happening.
Oh, I never did finish playing this, did I? Damn, hold on.
Yeah.
All right. Let me play this right quickie. I forgot I hadn't finished it.
When it comes to air superiority, not so fast, boyo, because China is coming in fast. Really fast. Earlier this year, Admiral Samuel Paparo, the head of the U.S. Indo-Pacific Command, warned that the People's Liberation Army Air Force is outproducing the U.S. in fighter aircraft at a ratio of 1.2 to 1. And this report from the Center for Strategic and International Studies last year also found that China is closing the production gap with the U.S. and is developing its own answers to the F-22 and F-35 with alarming speeds.
Okay,
alarming accuracy. They look exactly like ours. So what? Their weapon systems and the control systems aren't as good as ours. We can, like Joe said, we can shoot them before they even know we're in the theater.
So how do you know that, Jay? How do you know that?
They're what is it? It's their J-20 and their J-35, which are supposed to be the answer to the F-22, and the F-35 aren't even close.
They look exactly like them, but they're not.
Their planes
anywhere near it. Yeah.
When you watch what an F-22 can do, you have not seen any Chinese planes, not even their new 6th generation, has been able to repeat a lot of the moves that these planes can do. So think of it this way: we won't even give the F-22 to our allies. Now we'll sell them the F-35 all damn day long, but we won't give them the F-22. And
the F-22 has stealth plus. That's why the F-35.
And it's got some other stuff besides that. It's got a few other gadgets besides that. We don't even like deploying it outside of the U.S. It's really for the defense of our country. That's how advanced this thing is. It's
we use it in this Iraq thingy, though.
So one F-22 would be equivalent to about 10 J-20s. And the F-22 can see them far earlier than they can see them. Our sensor systems are much better. Now, China's building these big block radar systems so we can't sneak in so they can see us on radar, or even when we're in stealth mode. Well, come to find out, they can't see the new F-47. The stealth it uses, the radar that doesn't even affect it. And even the F-22, it doesn't really work on it either. And we found out if we do I forgot what these missiles are called, but if you launch one of them, it totally screws up the whole sensor net on it. And so, China's learning like America's been doing. They're trying to put their stuff out there in a way that, look, we're badass. Yeah. No, this thing that we're looking at here, they're the new 6th generation. It's got a lot of issues. So our 6th gen has been flying now for 6 years. This thing,
but in development for 30, so it's been flying a while.
Yeah. So, but now they're deploying our 6th generation fighter. Oh yeah, the Chinese is nowhere ready for deployment yet. It's got a long ways to go. So by the time, and this is what's how
they don't have the helmet controlled non fly by wire systems that we have. The Firefox system.
And the funny part is, by the time they fully deploy their Gen 6, we're already starting to fly our first Gen 7. There's 2 Gen 7 prototypes that I know of, and one of them's already flying. And NASA is building a Gen 7, maybe a Gen 8 space plane. So
not maybe.
Well, they've already actually built one. They've actually already built one, but
they've got a flyer. They got a 1-1 flyer already.
Yeah, but regardless, the one that's going to be the fighter craft, it's going to be a fighter interceptor, go into space, come down the ground. So actually, one of the things they said it could be used for is to help clean up the debris in space. Either shoot off.
Heidi.
Yeah. So anyway, let's see what the rest of this guy.
But let's face it, jets are.
When I think of summer, the smells that come to mind: strawberry,
Oh, she don't like Chinese either.
watermelon slush, ylang-ylang,
funnel cake,
Slurpees and chips,
cocoa mango cherry,
sunbum,
chicken and waffles. My mom's restaurant, chicken and waffles.
So 20th century. A 21st century war over the Pacific is going to involve lots of unmanned aircraft, drones. And in that regard, China has also got it made. China is vastly outpacing the U.S. and many of its allies when it comes to drone production.
You'd like to think.
And I'm not just talking about the kind used for light shows. I'm talking about serious military hardware. And that's not all. The People's Liberation Army Air Force also has plenty of ability to overwhelm American air defenses.
Who is that guy, Joe?
I don't know. He's some dickhead. He's some pro-China guy. Actually, no, Jack. That was completely a pro Chinese art. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, China. The problem here is we don't need the United States and China to get into a Cold War like the Soviet Union we did. One, it's not going to matter because we make far more money than China does, and the same thing will happen to them that happened to Russia. They'll end up bankrupt because China's got a problem that America don't. It does control a lot of rare earths, but the rare earths aren't inside their country. They have to be imported. The way China lost in World War II is Japan cut off their supply lines. So if China has to fight the United States, it can't protect its supply lines from countries like South Korea and the Philippines and the Japanese. It's not going to happen. Or if Europe or if NATO gets involved, they're not going to be able to defend themselves against that. It's just the volume is too much. Even if they get Russia on their side, but Russia's shits are shit right now. I mean, the Ukraine are sinking them with drones. Clara, do you know how many drones have been shot at the Iranian fleet? No, really. Do you know how many drones have been shot at the Iranian fleet and at the aircraft carriers that are over there? On some days, there's more than 300 or 400 launched at the aircraft carrier over there. Somehow they're managing to shoot them down. And they're not doing it all with missiles, so what are they doing? You got to make yourself wonder about that. Oh, you're talking about the Abraham Lincoln story that the guy jumped off the ship because the food was so bad?
That bullshit.
So
bullshit. Don't get me started.
No. So guys, I've been in the Navy in a long time, but the Navy prides itself on food, and for certain reasons, food for sailors are like rewards.
Yeah.
We're and they usually spoil you. It's usually not any kind of shitty food. Now, I can't speak if Pete's become some dickhead that says all they can have is rice and soup or something, but No, the Navy's not going to be like that. Now, I will. First time I really had a big disagreement with Trump today is when I heard him say he wants to take the kinetic launchers off the aircraft carriers. I'm like, why do you want to do that? You know, I never thought about this. These kinetic launchers could be turned into huge rail guns.
I think they're using it for another weapon launch system. I forget which one. I saw it briefly last week. We might have talked about it too. I forget what it is, but one of the weapon systems we currently use, it's basically like the railgun / the new catapult system, but it launches a kinetic projectile, kind of like the railgun, but not at the same speed. You know what I mean? It's more like a dumber, slower version of it.
I know Trump wants them taken off and the regular catapults put back on, steam catapults put back on. Not just that, he wants the electronic measures taken out of the towers and put back into standard, because he says we're vulnerable from EMP with these kind of systems.
You should have. I wouldn't say take them all out. I would say at least have one backup steam catapult, because if an EMP comes by and takes your electronic
you need more than
out.
You'd have to take two out, Joe, in order to put two back in, because one, everybody will be, Joe will tell you, one just wouldn't cut it, the launch off.
Right.
They I think most of the new carriers have 4 launchers on them. So
I know the Independents have 4.
Yeah. It's
you could do a 2 and 2 electronic and 2 steam.
But then again, you get an EMP, it's going to blow out the kinetic one, so you only got 2 catapults going.
That's why you have them. You have 2, electric steam, or however they're configured on the deck, and if the 2 electric ones go out, you still have the two steamers.
I don't know. So when I was in the Navy, I did a lot of protecting electronics on the ships and on the planes from EMPs, and you can protect them. So I would think that if the launch system is vulnerable to EMP, then you would have thought somebody would have decided to shield it, because you can't have that kind of fuck up in a major $13 billion.
I would expect that. If they put that on like a frigate, no, I don't think they would harden it that way. But they don't need a steam catapult on a frigate, so it wouldn't make any sense.
No, Jeffrey, the steam catapults are just it's just steam. It's nothing, no electronics involved. Yeah, just pull the lead, build up the steam, pull the lever, and off it pulls you off the ship.
Yep.
If you look closely at in the little track where the little thing that pulls the front gear along, when it starts, you can see steam come out. You can see little puffs of white cloud come out of it.
Yeah, you can actually see it being pulled down the track.
Well, Joe, I want to say something real quick about this Abraham Lincoln shit. All right,
spit it out, baby.
Okay.
Spit it out.
Oh yeah, I'm. You know what? First of all, I heard earlier today, I on TikTok from some dude saying that it was Iranian media putting all that bullshit story out there about the sailors, right, committing suicide, how bad it is, blah blah blah. But I tell you what, honest to God, I listened to all even some old sailors too say, "Oh, it ain't right. It ain't right. It ain't right. They should have a protocol, blah, 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 blah." I don't give a shit. You signed the damn paper. You signed up for 4 years to be in the Navy. So suck it up. Suck it up. And
suck it up, buttercup.
And do what you have to do. So what? My God, when I was in the Navy, I spent 3 years and 2 months out at sea. Yeah, sure, we pulled into a port or two, but you know what? So we were out and we did our jobs, and we always had food, always. And this shit about them not getting food on the Abraham Lincoln, it's a bunch of bullshit. It really is.
Yeah.
They will get.
You can't
food.
have an army without food. Period.
I'm telling you, they're saying that they can't get supply ships out there. Bullshit.
You're in the ocean on a boat. If you run out of
bullshit,
supplies, you need.
It's there. It's there. The food's there. And then here's what people don't seem to fucking realize. All right, this is what they don't realize. that we have helicopters, right, that will pick up pallets and bring it over to the ship. You know, it's like, so, wow, people, just relax, man. So the dudes in the Navy who are having a little seizure or whatever, or getting bored, tell them to go see the damn chaplain and talk about it. That's what the chaplain's for on board that ship. I'm done. Ran over.
Or you can tell that dude, Sean, to go see his gynecologist if his vagina is bothering him, because we're tired of hearing you complain about your job.
No, I don't think. No, it just no. You need sometimes you need to have that chaplain. That's what the chaplain's there for when you're out at sea. It's not to freaking do mass every Sunday. No, that chaplain's there for your mental health. That's what the chaplain's for.
Yeah.
Thank you, Joe.
We had a sexy chaplain, so she was.
I mean, it's just like wow. I just get tired of listening to freaking people bitching because they're at 270 days. They signed the paper. That's their job for 4 years. And here, the Abraham Lincoln has an 85% re-enlistment.
Yeah.
85%.
I don't know, Jeffrey. I've first off, let me explain something to you about the Navy. Let's say that you really didn't like the food and you wanted to jump ship. You just fucking went AWOL. You're going to jail. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. No. You're not going to just get thrown out. And we're at war right now. So jumping ship at war is treason.
Yes.
You can put to death for it. This is a dangerous game to play right now. Going AWOL is one thing. Going AWOL doing it when you're deployed on a combat. Oh, no, man. No. You could do life. If they want, they can kill you if they want to. They can ask for it, but they're not going to do that unless they thought what you were doing was, being a traitor, not just because you were a coward. They probably won't kill you for that. They'll probably leave you in prison the rest of your life. No, let me tell you, that doesn't work that way, Chris. The regular law has nothing to do with you in the service. We fall under the UCMJ, and fuck that. It's much more confining and restricting than regular law is.
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't know. So you got to be real careful there. Now, the bitch part for being in the service is like when you're in a foreign country, or even when you're in your own country. When you're out getting in trouble, you fall under two sets of laws. You fall under military justice and you fall under civilian justice because you're a citizen. So you can actually find yourself doing 5 years in a civilian jail and then getting out and doing 5 years in a military jail. Yeah. For the same damn crime, my friend. Yeah, so yeah, it sucks.
Double jeopardy.
And they don't run you in code. Yeah, you gotta serve them. Because one's a Fed and one's not. That's why. I don't think it would matter if it was a Fed crime either. They'd still do it to you.
Usually, Joe. Though, if they do, sailor does commit some kind of bad thing on shore leave, and they get arrested, the Navy comes in and puts them back on the ship, and then they get punished that way too. Yeah, that's what happens a majority of the time.
Yeah, it does happen a lot of times. Well, because unless it's something stupid local, well, it depends on the crime, Jack. I mean, if you killed somebody, your ass is in deep shit. All right.
Yeah.
First thing you notice about Obama's museum is it cost $850 million.
Wow. Of his own money or ours?
Of ours, not his. No, not ours. I think some of it was ours, but I think most of it was like donations.
Hey, Google, how much American taxpayer money went to Obama's museum?
There is no single total for how much public funding has supported the Obama Presidential Center, as official figures have been difficult to reconcile.
Go figure.
While the Obama Foundation is privately funding the $850 million construction of the campus itself, significant government spending has been directed towards surrounding infrastructure. The Illinois Department of Transportation has reported spending approximately $229 million on infrastructure work tied to the site, which may include federal transportation funds routed through the state. Additionally, Chicago's recent capital improvement plans have allocated over $206 million for roadway and utility work in the area. though officials have not clarified how these city and state
So
allocations overlap.
that puts us
How much of
over
this
almost at $1.3 billion.
Yeah.
Because the project.
Hey, Google, stop. Wow. But that sounds either
With
they're
that?
getting a combination of state and federal funds plus the private donations.
Yeah. So $850 million for the building that we're looking at, this ugly fucking building, and then another 400
million
plus the other 200. So that's another 450 million in infrastructure work, basically. So that puts you at 913. But they also were talking.
Yeah.
They were all no, that's $1.3 billion, and they were also talking about other stuff around the area, including the buildings and stuff that was added in. That's going to probably be another $200 million. I guarantee.
And look at all the contractors that are not getting paid their money because of the work they've done.
Yeah.
A lot of contractors aren't getting their money.
They're trying to work that out because it's black contractors. Yeah, there's some white contractors actually suing them over there. Oh yeah, Jazz, because you can't just hire people because they're black. That's illegal in this country. Yeah,
very. And but then on top of that, I mean, what did they? She said 292 million just to build roads around the building.
Yeah,
and all that lights, traffic lights, and signage. Jesus.
Jack, it's expensive.
And it's an ugly building. Ugly.
On top of that, yeah.
And then you are required to have an ID to go into it.
Really? They don't want you to ID for a vote, but they ID to go see crap about Obama's bullshit history. No, thank you. I'll pass.
I'm trying to find, let's see, soldiers on U.S. Abraham. Lincoln attempted jump from ship and lengthy development and deployment. Soldiers? What soldiers? There ain't no soldiers on a Navy ship.
Marines.
Yeah, but they're Marines. They ain't soldiers. They're soldiers of the fucking army. Well, Marine get upset you call them a soldier. Everyone.
Yeah, they're not going to be any Marines necessarily on board the Capitol ship.
Yeah, and I can tell you now, ain't no Marines going to bitch because they'll get in all kind of shit in trouble.
Yeah, they will. Hey, Kara.
Hey, Kara. Yeah, most of the Marines would be on like a troop transport. They wouldn't all be on the Capitol ships. I mean, there's some for security purposes, but you don't carry, an invasion force on a carrier, do you? I don't think so.
You carry. They're called Marine. They're called Marine detachments, and there's like maybe about 30 of them.
Yeah, like I said, for shipboard security, you don't normally carry a bunch of guys on a carrier to dump them on the ground to go fight on the ground. That's what the transport vessels are for.
Well, the Nimitz could carry 1,000 Marines if it had to. Now, if she wanted to go without planes, she could carry about 6,000 Marines.
Or dump, some ballast or some weaponry, some bullets or something, and add extra dudes. But
you couldn't You couldn't put tanks on that. No way.
No. How are you going to roll a tank off of a carrier? Yeah.
Yeah. What are you talking about, man? You just pull a bitch into a port and run it off the elevator, just like you do a jet.
Why not just get a Chinook freaking helicopter and carry it?
Because you can't. Because you got to go across the ocean first. You're trying to move 6,000 to 8,000 U.S. military soldiers on one boat crossing a big, huge ocean like the Atlantic or the Pacific. There ain't no airplanes or any little cruise boats going to do that. You got to have something major. So if we were moving troops, you could use a carrier for that. I mean, we have 12 carriers. Mm-hmm. Well, we have more than that because we got the Marine carriers. Technically, Jack, we got 11 carriers, but the Nimitz is supposed to be retiring.
Yeah, they're holding it back until the end of the year, I think, though. They said something about that.
Let's see. Widespread reports of shortages, basic supplies, water contamination, plumbing issues, degrading mental health, check safety concerns. This is so. All right, guys, I'm going to tell y'all a secret if y'all listening. If this was a ship, okay, we're talking like a cruiser or a frigate or something, and it had been deployed 9 or 10 months, I could see some of this happening. This is a state-of-the-art aircraft carrier. Now, aircraft carriers do get plumbing problems, but they still get fixed on board. So that's, and as far as water goes, in case y'all know, ladies and gentlemen, there's a desalination station aboard this aircraft carrier. So it can
Never
actually suck
runs out of water.
Yeah, it's never going to run out of water. I can suck it right out the ocean and purify and put it right in. So contamination maybe in a tank, but the water system itself, no, that's bullshit. And they will put you out on the decks playing games, playing football, running around like assholes, throwing you off the side of the aircraft carrier into the water. Carriers are big. There's places that you can go sit by yourself and get away from people.
What are we talking? Like 2,000 feet long, 100 feet wide, 60 feet tall.
Dude,
Plus-
they set up They set up like 4 basketball hoops where they put 3-on-3s, and then they had smokers. And this is on the Indy, and the Independence is like really small, but they had smokers. Man, there's 26 ships in our cruise. And each ship brought over 2 boxers. And they had smokers from 8 a.m. in the morning till about 10 o'clock at night. I mean, it's not, there's room. It's a bunch of horseshit. Joe knows that too.
Yeah, the boxing.
You know that, Joe?
Glenn, no, he's talking about boxing matches, Jack. But I don't know if they still allow them. Because Navy got a little wimpy there under Joe Biden and Obama for a while. So I don't know if they started cracking down on it. It was always a thing. If they knew you were going to have a long deployment, they would arrange things like that to take your mind off of it. Because you'd start talking about it 2 or 3 weeks, and then there'd be a couple of matches coming up to it, and then you'd have a whole day, sometimes a whole weekend of fighting. There was all kind of prizes. A lot of it just had to do with stuff that was on the ships, but it was all kind of stuff you could get, and there was a lot of alcohol and other type foods donated.
Yes.
It was just something to blow off steam and blow off time.
Yeah, we had Steel Beach picnics, okay, where we were at for like 60 days, and we had a picnic out on the deck. There were beer. Everybody was entitled to have 2 beers, and that where they store it at, they had Marines guarding that. Okay, yeah, but I've seen guys blow their whole paycheck, give a person for 2 beers their whole paycheck underway. I mean, seriously, man. So this shit you're hearing about the Abraham Lincoln is so full of shit. Whoever started that, they ought to, put them on a ship and see how much they enjoy it. It's like a club being on a carrier. It's nice. Yeah, you bust your ass, but when you're not busting your ass, you're having a good time.
Out of all the ships in the fleet, if you got to be stuck on one, it's the one to be stuck on.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, because they're huge, Jay. And I mean, you can just go out there and chill and. Oh, they can get really loud. No. They can get super loud. Don't ever think they can. But behavior like this is not tolerable. And if you're actually in the military, so you can tell most people who wrote these stories have never served. They don't realize jumping ship is you're going AWOL, and you're going way AWOL.
Serious offense, yeah.
AWOL is bad enough to get you. AWOL is just a normal, like in tech school boot camp, get you 1 to 5 years. Usually the first offense they slack up on you, but jumping ship in a war zone while we're under combat conditions, oh no. You're probably
breaking rocks at Leavenworth.
Yes, if you don't get killed, you're getting life.
Also, Joe, they have to realize too, you jump overboard, you have to launch off a helicopter to go snatch your ass, and that's money. You know what I mean?
If you survive the fall.
No, they do.
Off the wrong way,
you can.
Yeah, I know you can, but you can also get seriously injured if you fall the wrong way.
Well, not if you're a Navy guy, you can't, because everybody first off at boot camp, you got to jump off this big huge tower. But then it doesn't matter. Once you get on your ship, everybody has to jump off their ship at least once. Now, when you do swim events, everybody's just jumping off the damn thing. So, like the Nimitz. Nimitz is way the hell out the water. When you're looking down, you're thinking, shit, you're like 10 stories out the water going, wow. And then, but nope, you just jump.
Yeah.
And you
don't jump from the flight deck. You jump from the hangar bay.
Yeah, you can jump from the hang, but you can jump from the flight deck too if you're a dumbass.
Well, they're nuts. Yeah, that's being a dumbass. I mean,
we used to have a pilot used to like to just jump off. He'd do like 9 flips on the way down, hit the water, and disappear for a minute. No, Jack, the ship wasn't. The fucking ship wasn't moving, you dumbass. It was at anchor.
So everything you are hearing about the Abraham Lincoln is bullshit. It's total bullshit.
Pure bull honkery.
It is.
Well, Chris,
I will. You heard it here first.
Chris, I will concede that there could be such an idiot that might do something like that. But as far as a ship full of sailors, no, that's not going to happen because they know what's going to happen to them if they act like that. That stuff doesn't go away. They teach you that in boot camp, and it's reinforced the entire time you're in the service.
Yeah, you'll get KP duty and a night in the brig for that kind of crap.
No, longer.
Or longer.
Longer. Yeah. I remember, I'm going to share this story with you. So we're out at sea, and I'm on the Holland, right? So this guy's mother sent him a bottle of, what was it? Jack Daniels. No shit. Joe, check his shit out. This is funny. So he drank that whole bottle when he opened it up. So he got dressed, he put on a life vest, and he jumped off the bridge, off the ship, into the water, and he's laughing his butt off. Yeah, he was gone, but he was laughing out in the middle of the water. He just jumped the ship because he was drunk. Oh yeah,
you know. It's not beyond the realm that someone will try to jump a ship or go places. Usually, if you see someone try to jump a ship, it's at a foreign part that somewhere they want to go, like in Spain or Madrid or, France or somewhere in the Middle East. Or actually, most Americans don't want to go to the Middle East because it's just dangerous for us there. But
yeah, and it's
Australia. If there was any place I would jump ship, would be Australia. It is so beautiful there. It is so beautiful there.
If I weren't terribly scared of heights, I might consider jumping ship like near Hawaii and then swimming into the bay. But
well, do you know how expensive? You need to get 4 jobs, Jay, just to live in Hawaii.
Yeah, I know.
That's expensive, dude.
It's still right, but that doesn't mean it's not too bad for a day visit or so.
Well, I mean, there's places in Hawaii on the economy you can go live because, like anywhere in the world, they have to have their poor class to support their rich class.
Look what Mish just wrote. Just look what Mish just wrote. She said Australians are looking for another country.
Your country is as big as 2, so I can look a little bit west. Maybe you'll find better territory.
What are you talking about, Jimmy? Oh, you mean New Zealand? No, New Zealand's New Zealand's different. They don't no spiders, no snakes.
Thanks, Mish.
Horse ranches.
Oh, do you see them damn spiders in Australia, man? Holy crap!
Australia has the 10 most deadliest of everything. 10 most deadliest spiders, 10 most deadliest snakes.
The only good thing Australia has is that they are enriched with gold and a lot of gold and big gold. Yes.
Probably a lot of oil too, I would imagine.
I don't know about oil, but I know they got opals and other stones. They got a whole town built underground out there in an opal mine.
Yeah.
They like your apartments underground, the restaurants underground, but above ground they got a bunch of UFO things that you can rent and stay in. Yeah, it's a weird little town. No, we're watching something. Yeah. Oh no, the walls actually have opals. When you're walking through town, you can actually, and they polish them. Yeah, so you can actually see the stones in the walls and stuff. It's very weird.
Oh well, check her out. Mish says we have cats for snake control. They call them a Coober Petty.
Coober Petey.
Coober Petey.
Type of hat.
Oh.
My dog. Good thing my dog didn't hear that. They'd have been like, yeah, they don't like cats. They think cats are like snacks or something. Yeah. When I used to raise big dogs, yeah, I'd always have to teach them to. I'd have to give them as puppies so they would grow up with my cats because I didn't want them killing my cats. Yeah. Same thing with little dogs. If you got big dogs, you got to let them grow up together. Oh, I seen a King Corso shake a Chihuahua to death in a public park, and then the lady got all upset when they came to get her dog to put it down. In most of the South, if your dog bites somebody, it's automatic. Automatically, they put it down.
There you go, Sean. That's a Cooper Petey.
Oh, okay. I might.
Yeah, Mitch, that right there, Mitch. That's an Cuba right there. I wear one of their hats every day. I have their adventure hat, which is pretty cool.
Crocodile Dundee. Yeah.
That one's kind of like Crocodile Dundee. I'll show you my hat. Here's my hat. This is the one I wear.
He thinks he's Indiana Jones, man. Somebody smack him.
Yeah. No, Indiana J. Where do you think they got the idea from? They stole it from me. That's how the hat comes, and then you got to bash it in. But the other one, that's a Cooper Petey one. It's like a
Miss says, "Giddy up, Jay. Giddy up."
You know, a bunch of people up here say the same thing. They think my hat's a cowboy hat. It's not. The cowboy hat was modeled after the fedora, which comes from Germany.
From Germany.
Mm-hmm.
You sure didn't come from Spain, man.
I'm quite certain that the first of all, there's a hat called the Hamburg, which comes first, and then the fedora comes after that.
I'm just asking you because horseback riding was from Spain, so I was just figuring maybe that's what.
Horseback riding comes from Spain, but the cowboy hat comes from Germany.
Oh man, I don't.
Listen at him over there taking up for the Germans, man.
What drugs you on tonight, buddy?
Yeah. Share them drugs, man. What the
because
fuck?
I have the history. It's true. I read the history. It's the truth. Look at the hat. If you take my hat and you fold the brim up, it's just like a cowboy hat.
What did the Cowboys do? Go over to Germany, steal one of their hats, and bring it back to the United States for all the.
It was invented. The style was invented there. It was all over the planet in the 30s. So just look at even the Three Stooges wore fedoras all the time. Hand bashed fedoras. It was
all I know is way back in the day, before America was a country, the Spanish used to run around with cowboy hats. It's
Where do you think they got that style for the cowboy hat? It came from Germany.
The Spanish went over to Germany to get the hat.
Shit, gentlemen, you got computers in front of you. Look it up. You'll see I'm right.
They're getting hating on them Spanish. Look, people. That's Jay. Look,
Cowboys wearing fedoras.
If that's Jay saying y'all didn't invent the hat, the cowboy hat, yeah. No, that's Jay. I ain't saying nothing. I'm staying out of this argument. Y'all don't write me no hate mail. If you got real bitch mail, it's Gmail. What is it? uprnradio@gmail.com. Yeah, address it to Michelle DeRoche, though, because I'm not gonna look at it. Yeah, if it's important, Michelle will make me look at it.
And Miss says, Jay. Anyway, Jay, nice hat.
Yeah. Thank you.
Let's see. So this is Jay's future husband. Newsom appointed judge who freed migrants before fatal stabbing, said justices.
Do what now?
So this guy dismissed this other guy, this illegal immigrant who went out and killed somebody.
Oh, that's someone I was just reading. He was let out on a violent charge, I think, and let out on his own recognizance. And then within 24 hours, he allegedly lured a 63-year-old man out into the street and then stabbed him to death in his front yard.
So let's see. California. I'm reading California. Let's see. California judge who released a Venezuelan national arrested for burglary and later allowed him to remain in home detention despite his violation of its terms. Had previously said that the justice came sometimes. Okay.
Yep, that's the one.
Yeah. So dismissal. Okay, that didn't make any sense right there. That was a little weird. Let's see. After Corona Costa Superior Court Judge Nichelle Holmes dismissed Marcos Valdez, a Venezuelan national, so he dismissed the charges, let him go. Who did they kill here? Let's see. National was accused of stabbing another man to death while attempting a burglary. And that's what they let him go on? Holy shit. The killing of Todd Stewart, 68, outside his home from 30 years, 30 years has renewed scrutiny of judge decisions. So this judge has allowed this to happen before, so he's probably going to get in trouble. That's good, but it still doesn't tell me. Let's see. Yeah, let's see. And they said Homeland Security bitched about him being released on his own recognizance.
Yeah, on his own recognizance, but under the premise or promise that he would stay under house arrest, and stay home on his own will. What kind of fucking judge? What kind of any human being, whether you're a judge or not, says, "Hey, I know you just tried to stab this guy while you were burglaring him, but if I let you go, will you stay at your house until your next court date?" Oh yeah, sure. No one's going to allow that. Put that person in jail. Especially if the crime before was also violent. You don't put them out in the public on their own recognizance because they're just going to do it again.
Okay. What? Oh, somebody's coming in. Okay. Let's see what we got here.
Yeah, I read that. It was right before the show started. She's screwed.
Woman charged, over vandalism from Washington World War II monument. Why?
Read what she did. I mean, she fucked this place up. She put some kind of like fire foam or something to that effect that like in the reservoir of the fountain, and it blew up for whatever. I think it's fire foam. I'm not really sure what she did, but then she took like a pink spray paint and sprayed some kind of foul stuff on the actual marble.
God, what a pig! Well, I think there's an audio clip, so let's see. Give it a second. We'll find out. No, that's Sean's fault. We didn't go to break because of Sean. Yeah, don't look at me. He's in charge of breaks, man.
What's that?
I don't do breaks. He does breaks. Yeah. Somebody said, "How come we didn't take?" Somebody said, "How come we don't do breaks?" I said, "Because Sean didn't take us on break." That's why.
I'm just a peon.
No, you're the break guy, man. You've always been the break guy, Jay. You hear him over here squirming out of getting the break guy? Oh my God!
No, I usually make the noise for it. Yeah.
Let's see.
I thought we were going to watch the baby Trump news one.
We ain't seen nothing good. But anyway, we're going to watch this right here. I'm getting ready to put up. Let's see. Turn that one off. Grab this one. Play with me, baby. Oh, yeah. Play with me, baby. Jay, are we up on the screen?
Yep.
Okay, let's blow this bad bitch up.
Yeah.
Sean, is this your girlfriend over here on the right, Sean?
Ew.
Oh, God, no.
The one on the right, not on the left. The right. The cute one, not the scary thing. This thing is whatever it is on the left.
That's not AOC. No.
Okay.
That's not AOC.
All right. Here we go.
To be accused of vandalizing the World War II Memorial in Washington, D.C. This happened yesterday afternoon, just before 2. You can see the spray paint and the soapy fountain there. Rafael Sanchez Cruz was in Alexandria Federal Court where the woman turned herself in this morning.
Melissa Ferris, also known as Melissa Lovewell, is facing 2 felony charges: depredation against property of the United States and destruction of Veterans Memorial. Both of these offenses carry a maximum of 10 years in prison. For now, Ferris will remain in custody here in Virginia until she's transferred to D.C. at some point today.
Hello. I'm trying to find where I can turn myself in.
This is a live stream of Melissa Ferris turning herself in this morning in Alexandria Federal Court. On Thursday, prosecutors say a witness captured this photo. Investigators say it shows Ferris spray painting the World War II memorial. Investigators say the entire incident was live streamed on Ferris' social media
selfie of herself
accounts.
doing it? You're an
She's
idiot.
accused of spray painting "Clean Hands, Dirty Money" on the memorial.
It was me. I'm doing it. I did it. It's on camera.
The live stream also shows a blue capsule being dropped into the fountain, causing suds in the water.
I am not psychotic.
Court documents say Ferris is from Kentucky. In social media videos, she says she's been in the nation's capital for 3 weeks. Ferris claims she's sounding the alarm on the Blue Oval SK project based partly in Kentucky.
I very much am cognitively aware and executively of the choices that I am making, and I'm doing so to push my whistleblowing case into the courtroom.
Ferris was in the courtroom on Friday, but only to hear the charges against her and the prison time she could face if found guilty.
U.S. Attorney for D.C. Janine Pirro says Ferris was also arrested on a Monday for illegally camping on federal property not far from
And
the
she's
memorial.
homeless too.
A
Wonderful.
D.C. judge will decide whether Ferris will remain in custody as her case moves forward. In Alexandria, Rafael Sanchez Cruz, WUSA 9.
Wow, what a dumb bitch.
So this idiot.
Oh, sorry, guys. Whoa, that hurt.
This idiot put herself in jeopardy for 20 years behind bars to make a statement in court. What a moron.
Sounds like TDS to me.
Yeah, no, it sounds like she's going to get one of those rubberized rooms with the jacket with extra long sleeves tied around the back.
Well, that's true too. She probably is, but it still sounds like TDS.
Nutcase.
Wait, what is this?
Where the hell do we go? We're gone. We're not on the screen.
Mish says, well, at least she isn't homeless now.
Yeah, good call. Yeah. She's got at least a cot and 3 squares a day. Probably,
Okay.
She probably doesn't smell so bad anymore either, I would hope.
Okay, so we're going to have to go through these real quick because they're too... Here we go. This is always an interesting subject.
It's up there.
Why Mars exists.
Mars doesn't exist. So there.
It just said Mars exists. What are you talking about, man? You can't just say it doesn't.
If it's on the internet, Sean, it must be true.
That's right. That's damn skippy hippie chippy, buddy.
No,
Yeah, I'm with Jay on this. I'm with Jay on this. Okay.
Oh man, God Almighty, you guys
Here
still
we go.
believe? Oh man,
But this ain't got nothing to do with Mars here. So anyway, this is actually talking about the Dark Knight satellite.
Okay. That's cool.
That's been
cool.
parked. Yeah. So it's supposedly it's been parked above our planet for over 13,000 years. I'm not sure how the fuck they came up with that date. I question that date every time I hear it, but we're gonna let it go because
the first time it's spoken of is by either Galileo or the guy or Da Vinci, one of those two. I think it's Galileo, but it might be Da Vinci.
maybe it was put up there so that when they were building the monuments, they could line up the procession correctly.
Well, that's exactly how they used the Black Knight to float all the rocks around to build the pyramids.
That's right. Maybe they
Hey,
did.
Google, how far back was Galileo Galilei? How many
500 years?
Galilei was born on February 15th, 1564.
Yeah, 500 years.
2 years old.
It's not him. Hey, Google, how many years ago was Da Vinci?
Same.
Leonardo da Vinci.
I have not, Mish. I have not.
174 years ago.
A little longer. So maybe it wasn't them, but somebody, at least I think one of the big philosopher names did mention the Black Knight many, many, many thousands of years ago.
I haven't, Mish.
It would have had to been somebody, a Sumerian or a Mesopotamian, Chinese,
maybe
Egyptian, something like that. Or one of the other races that we rarely ever talk about because there's just not that much information on them. I know, Jimmy. So we're going to speed through this, okay? Because it's 30.
The Black Knight satellite legend doesn't have a single originator, but it's often traced back to Nikola Tesla's
You're welcome.
in 1999. Tesla
You're
reported
welcome, Mish.
signals that he speculated might be from extraterrestrial life, which
Hey, Google, stop.
theorists.
So I read some of that. Somebody had spoken of it earlier. I'd have to go look and see if I can find it again. But I was under the impression
because I have heard, and I can't tell if it's Black Knight or not, but I have heard in some of the ancient texts about things in the skies, in the stars.
Yeah.
So, Gene, the Sumerians talk about a couple of things. The Sumerians also, Stitching takes the Rebrew. Okay, we'll do the science real quick. The Rebrew is 5 times the size of Earth. It could not come anywhere close to us. If it did, it would destroy us. It would rip our planet into pieces, and it wouldn't probably even affect theirs, but it would destroy the shit out of ours. And anything else that was really,
it might affect their tides and their weather for a couple of days, but yeah, it would simply destroy ours. We would break up, and probably most of it would fall on their planet. So there might be some secondary destruction that way.
Well, Gene, it depends. So if Nerebru was coming in just on an elliptical orbit like everything else, and it was coming behind us or in front of us or over the top of us even, it's going to wreak havoc. So depending on the speed, which it was just telling you could be right or wrong. So as it goes by and the Earth's being ripped apart, it's going to be pulling stuff from behind it. But if its speed, say, 5,000 miles an hour or something along those lines, or even 50, the rock may have a chance. It may actually pull enough force that the rock may have a chance to pass it up. But if it's cruising like, say, 100 now, the debris field's going to be too far behind it to catch up. So it just depends on all about speed. Two things:
yeah, and
speed
also
and
close
distance.
it is. I mean, if it flies by really close, it could suck up a lot. It could even
distance and speed. Now,
and absorb most of it.
Now, if it's headed on a really close trajectory, then it's going to break it up before it gets here.
Yeah,
the force from the planet it'll be like a force field shot, like beating our planet. Where that probably means that Nibiru would take impact, and I don't know what size, but they may take some big ones. But that's saying it got here, but there's no signs of any kind of damage like that ever happening to our planet. Even if you say the moon smacked into us, which is very arguable.
All right, Miss. Have a good night.
That's still not the magnitude of a planet 5 times the size of Earth. Matter of fact, the only debris field that size is the one between Mars and Jupiter.
Mm-hmm.
That's a debris field that's actually 5 times the size of Earth. And if Nibiru was real and it came across the ecliptic and Jupiter grabbed it, that's what's left of it. And Jupiter's well known for grabbing big things and crushing it.
And if this happened, our other theory of the ocean coming from that 5th planet, forming a ball in space and heading towards Earth, that would make it that somewhere on Earth, someone says, hey, there's a flood coming, because they know the ball is going to hit Earth. Otherwise, how do you know when because the flood story doesn't work with just the planetary water at that time. Something came and doubled or maybe even tripled the amount of water on the planet. At one time.
So you mean when I was talking about life in it? So arguing about life in this water is you can go a couple of ways. So if let's say that Mars was just getting its ecliptic to Earth and it was right on the parallel edge, then we were really close to it. So if the force of wherever the water came from like the 5th planet, if it was ricocheted or pushed by Mars this way, and we were headed that way, it's like any of those puzzles you used to get in school. What happens if the train's coming from New York at 180 miles an hour, and the other train's
Welcome back, Heidi.
From New York, from Pennsylvania at 180 miles? What's the collision going to be? 360 miles an hour. So yeah, right. 2 bodies attracting. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Anyway, stop sidetracking.
In that scenario, the ocean wouldn't have time to freeze.
Yeah, it wouldn't have that time to freeze.
It would be here within 6 months to a year. And if the planets were at their furthest part, it might take up to 2 years for that water to get to us. And maybe it would have a crust of ice, but it would be like a water balloon. It wouldn't all be frozen.
So,
whatever life was on that planet in that ocean, and maybe some artificial life, like submarines filled, technological humans or Martians, could also. So the flood story may not actually originate on Earth. It may come from the 5th planet. It may come from Mars, and they may say, "Hey, look, everybody into the ocean. This is our life vessel. We're going to another planet."
Jenny, it seems, and I'm saying seems, it seems like that there was a large body of water that came off the 5th planet, but it also seems like that it at the very least brought some of Mars's water with it. I mean, we can leave the 5th planet out and say this water came from Mars, because Mars had more water on it than Earth did. So it's not beyond the realm that it didn't have. Yeah, it's weird how planets accumulate water, especially when it looks like
here's another weird thing, particularly when we're talking about Mars. So there is the story in the book of Enoch, Enoch 1, I believe it is, and the story retells of the Watchers, and that the Watchers were on a red planet, Mars, and that the Watchers left that planet for a blue planet, Earth. And then they also say that there was a judgment on Mars, and that the Watchers, some of them had left the red planet to come here to Earth. That's the fallen angels of the Bible. And then this video that I saw earlier today also further goes on to say that in the book of Enoch, they describe that Mars has two very fast lights that roll around it. Deimos and Phobos. It's two moons.
Well, let me throw a monkey wrench into this conversation. Let me throw a monkey wrench. Let me throw a monkey wrench in this situation.
Let me finish what the Bible. This book was written 8,000 years ago, Sean. So and it's saying things about Mars that we've only just now discovered this century.
How could they say could be another planet out there that is red?
There's only one planet on the solar system that's red, and it's Mars. And so they talk about yes, it's in the Book of Enoch. There's several translations. All the translations agree that they talk about a red planet, a red world. It doesn't say planet; it says red world. And it also the red world has its atmosphere stripped away, or its shelter is taken away. It also says that the water of it is stripped away from the planet, and most of it is absorbed back into the rock. But most of it escapes the planet with the atmosphere. We didn't know that there was water embedded in rock until 2018. And it wasn't released publicly until this year by NASA. So figure that one out. How does part of the Bible, the original Bible, one of the original books that was taken out at the Council of Laodicea, I forget what the year it was, but it was removed permanently from the Bible because it speaks of judgments and punishments on another human world in this solar system.
All right. What were you saying, Sean, before I click this on?
Nothing. I'm good. I'm
you
good.
Sure?
No,
okay. If you're not pregnant, all right.
I just believe that there's another planet out there that's red.
It could be. I can't rule that out. It could be in the rebirth.
Yeah, maybe not in this solar system, but in another one, sure.
Or it could have been there was one, and that's the debris between Mars and Jupiter.
Maybe the fifth planet was also red. We don't know, but Mars is red, and so therefore,
there's a good chance that the fifth planet was red.
All the pictures I've been seeing of Mars, if it's Mars, is orange.
Well, Mars is weird actually, because Mars can have lighter colored skies. And
hello, Heidi.
The pictures taken on Mars, it depends if there's dust in the air or not, what angle the sun's on, what kind of looks, because it's not really red. I mean, it gives you the sense that it is, but when you actually look at a NASA picture like bright daylight, and it's looking down at the ground or something, it looks more like Earth than it does like what you see. But when it's looking out across the horizon, it's always got this like red, misty glow to it. And imagine if you lived there, it's going to be kind of weird standing there looking out, seeing that kind of, because we're used to looking out and seeing blue, or light, just clear. There, it tends to be like that. Gene, no, hold on, let's put this on. Let's see. No, this is 37 minutes. We're gonna do this in like 5 minutes. It's gonna be crazy. Hang on.
Entirely on ignorance. Electrons had been discovered in 1897, but Tesla, he wasn't having any of that bullshit. Refusing to believe anything smaller than an atom could exist. Well, he was wrong about that, wasn't he? Tesla's work was heavily based on his belief that electricity was transmitted through the ether. He was also not particularly correct about that. Despite, my toothbrush, I guess, is like charges with magnetic induction, doesn't it? But I suppose it's like, hey, look, it's through the air. But even the phones now, you put the phone on the pad and it does the wireless charging thing. Oh, look, Tesla was right. Not quite. Despite being wildly incorrect about that, he still managed to succeed in wirelessly transmitting electricity. He was never able to make it commercially viable, but his methods are still the basis for modern wireless power transfer. Anyway, in July of 1899, Tesla was tracking and researching lightning storms when his instruments detected an unusual radio signal. It went beep, 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 beep. Tesla referred to the signals as counting codes, and they seemed truly remarkable. They were rhythmic and repeating, leading Tesla to make the logical conclusion that they'd been deliberately created. Wait, is this the one where Tesla thinks that he's talking with aliens on Mars?
Yes.
Because Tesla, people give Tesla a lot of credit, and I don't think he deserves. People are always like, oh, Tesla, yeah, he's like the smart guy, and Edison stole his ideas. It's like, well, Edison actually, really made a big difference and made a lot of stuff, and Tesla's just talking about aliens on Mars.
Well, if you think about it, our electrical system still is a combination of both. They use Tesla's AC conversion system with elements of Edison's DC system. So all the appliances in your house are DC. All the electricity coming to your house is AC. Once it comes into your house, it goes to the circuit breaker box where it's converted to DC, where it then operates your equipment.
So to make y'all understand this, originally there was going to be all DC power, but DC loses power, it drops. There's all kinds of charging. Yeah, and it has to be boosted along. The signals have to be boosted every so often. So you have to have boosting stations, charging stations. It was ridiculous.
There's no such thing as long-range transmission of electricity through direct current.
And
or DC.
The way the voltage worked on, or the way the ohms worked on it, once you got up to about 75 volts in DC, it got really hot. Whereas AC ran cooler, it ran faster, it ran hotter. I mean, 110 volts just clicked along like it was nothing. It transcrossed wires for long distances. Without Einstein, you would not be living the life you are today, because as Jay said, all your electronics now run on DC, but AC is what actually makes them run. They have transformers inside of there, usually built into the cores, but some sides are inside. Without the transformer, one, nothing you have is going to work, and two, it wouldn't be feasible for you to get electricity from DC over the line. So without that AC, you would not be able to do all the stuff that we do today. So that's what Tesla. One of the things Tesla contributed to our society was AC power. But for some reason, I think this guy's got a hard on for Tesla, man.
Yeah, he does. I can tell in his voice. Kara says real quick, Joe. She says, so my AC changes to DC for my AC.
Yes, the air conditioning unit requires direct current in order to operate correctly. There is a transformer either within the walls of your house, like at the circuit breaker, or in the device itself. Each one of them has its own
actually.
conversion.
So in AC, it's a little weird. Your units outside now are going to run off 220 actually AC, but all your stuff inside, there's going to be a couple of different transformers. There's one actually in the thermostat, because not only do you have to transform, make sure it's DC, but it's very low voltage. It's like 2 volts. So you got to make sure that there's a voltage regulator in there as well. So that takes care of that problem. But then when you're going into the board, your fan is, your squirrel cage in your AC is going to run, on your air conditioner is going to run on AC. But everything else in that board is going to run on DC. So it's there's a lot of conversions going on in there. There's a lot of little things going on. There's a lot of little connectors going on. A lot of little things clicking on and off. Jeffrey, I don't think they sell the Mercury ones anymore. The old thermostats had the Mercury switch in them. I don't even know if they sell the Mercury thermometers anymore. Well, because Mercury's dangerous.
Thermometers, no, but the Mercury switch in the thermostats, I think, is still there on the analog versions.
Okay, no, Mike. So what Jay's talking about is, so when you look at them, there's just usually a little slide dial on the top that goes left to right from high to low temperature. And if you look, you can usually see the little red line in there or something. If you pop the cover off, you can actually see the little vial with the liquid in it. Yeah, it's a little glass. I don't know if it's a glass anymore, but it used to be glass.
Usually glass with a dram of mercury.
Yeah. No, it's just the way it works. But they got a lot of digital ones now, so yeah, it's different. Let's see.
Of course, while Tesla was wrong about a lot of stuff throughout his career, he still wasn't an idiot. He was aware that electrical disturbances could be caused by things like the sun, aurora borealis, or Earth's current, so he made sure to rule these out as possible sources of the signal. But once all other known explanations were ruled out, there was only one answer left. The message was a communication from extraterrestrial life. Further from the truth. In 1899, humans were still inventing radio communication. As such, it makes sense that Tesla would have received a simple message repeatedly counting to 3. It was something that could be played on a loop, and it would be easily identifiable as being intentional communication by whichever scientist detected it. Isn't there the thing about pulsars? And I know it's not counting to 3, but like, oh wow, there's like a regular transmission, like boop, 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 coming from space. Oh my god, it must be aliens. It's so regular, and it just turned out to be like a pulsar spinning round or something, and it's just. By the time Hals made his discovery, commercial radio had finally been invented. Where humans had only once been able to pick up radio messages, we were now able to transmit them as well. This meant the communications we received had to convey a different. Astronomers searching for near-Earth satellites, but they absolutely hadn't found any. Move along. Nothing to see here. This denial only fueled further speculation that there was a government cover-up in place. Obviously, people believing in secret government cover-ups doesn't count as evidence, but there continued to be sightings. In 1957, a Venezuelan researcher was observing the newly launched Sputnik when he made a peculiar sighting, something orbiting the Earth. Now, on the surface, that shouldn't be weird. The researcher was specifically looking for.
No matter what kind of teeth you got to brush,
Oh, whoa, that was
Oral-B
scary
Electric
looking.
cleans better with one simple touch. Oral-B's dentist-inspired round brush head hugs them, cleans them, and gets in between them for 100% cleaner teeth. Your perfect clean starts
Scary.
with
Stop
Oral-B.
doing that.
Something orbiting the Earth, and well, that was what he saw. However, the object that this person saw was in retrograde orbit, whereas Sputnik was in prograde orbit. Brilliant. I'm not sure what that means. This was particularly notable as no nation had yet the technology to launch something into retrograde orbit. If you're curious why it makes a difference when you launch something into prograde orbit, you get to use the speed provided by the rotation of the Earth as a starting point to reaching orbital velocity. I see. Everything on Earth, including rockets and satellites launched from its surface, is already moving east at about 1,000 miles per hour
true.
latitude. So to reach orbital velocity, you would have a 1,000 mile per hour head start, which is a good thing. It seems like the right way to launch a satellite then. To launch into retrograde orbit, you need to counteract the existing velocity and then accelerate in the opposite direction, essentially from scratch. It's more difficult, it requires more fuel, and it's certainly something that not any country on Earth was doing in 1957, especially because there isn't dies in that TV show, though.
Way out. Spoilers.
Cooper was a spoiler alert.
You're a bit late for that. Hate when he does that.
Cooper was a seasoned astronaut who broke all sorts of records. He held endurance records for the longest space flight, was the first person to fall asleep in space, and much, much more concerning, was the first astronaut to fall asleep during the countdown sequence for a space launch. I don't know if that's concerning. These guys probably got a pretty low pulse rate, right? They're like pretty calm. And you're probably sitting on top of that candle for like...
That's terrible. Using Vince Guaraldi for an ad. Shame.
Yeah, kind of
a good while, right? And then they light it. And you're like, all right, wake the f up. I understand that's supposed to be notable because of just how cool under pressure and unbothered by being hurled into space he was, but I feel like the astronaut probably should be awake for takeoff, especially since it was a solo mission.
He didn't have to do anything.
It is like, Gordo, wake up! Regardless, while orbiting Earth during the Mercury 9 mission, Cooper saw something unusual. Now, normally people talk about silver UFOs carrying little green men, but what Cooper claimed to see was a little green UFO. The sighting was confirmed by the ship's radar, as witnessed by about 100 NASA scientists at the tracking station in Australia. However, this was later written off as being an equipment malfunction that affected both the radar and the CO2 levels aboard the ship. NASA claimed that Cooper was breathing in too much CO2, so he was hallucinating. And sure, that's not going to help fuel conspiracies at all. Yeah, a bit of a coincidence, isn't it? Between the various sightings and the radio messages received by Tesla and Hals, it seemed certain that something was out there, but exactly what it was, and what sort of message was it trying to communicate? Decoding the unknown.
And who says it was trying to communicate with us?
Look, Simon, it's the name of the show. Yes, look right there in the
I've been talking to the whales, buddy.
Anyway, in a 1973 article in Spaceflight magazine, Scottish astronomer and researcher Duncan Loonan believed he had finally decoded those signals that Hals received back in 1927, and this probably raises two important questions. The first is about Spaceflight magazine itself, as it probably sounds like the name of some sort of trashy pulp magazine. No, I don't know, it sounds like a periodical about spaceflight. As it turns out, though, Spaceflight was the monthly publication of the British Interplanetary Society. Well, there we go. Yeah, maybe it's because I'm British, but I'm like this. Spaceflight sounds like something about spaceflight, not like some pulp trash. The BIS, British Interplanetary Society, is the world's oldest existing space advocacy group, a non-profit organization that seeks to promote and support space exploration. So it's not exactly a peer-reviewed science journal, but it was published by people who genuinely cared about this stuff. In short, spaceflight was regarded as
With just one kit of Crest
Man,
3
we
white
gotta get rid of
strips,
this
bring
guy,
on
like,
whiter teeth that last 12 months.
As a respected and credible source of information. A French scientific expedition in Indochina also reported he removed the image from their website, but enough people had already seen it and saved it. The truth about what's orbiting Earth can no longer be hidden, no matter how much NASA or anyone else wants to cover it up. For far too long, they've lied about the existence of extraterrestrials and UFOs, and now we have definitive proof that not only have aliens been here, they're orbiting the planet as we speak. Why everything I've told you so far is bullshit. Thus far, everything I've told you is the story of the Black Knight satellite, as is believed by purveyors of the conspiracy. But there's something you might have noticed about this story, which is that it doesn't really feel like it's a story. This has been less an episode of Decoding the Unknown and more like an episode of Family Guy, just 30 minutes of unrelated things stitched together alongside a vaguely coherent narrative. It's true, but Family Guy is funny. Also, all of the supposed evidence feels disjointed to the point that it's hard to imagine how anyone decided all of these events were somehow connected. Of course, it certainly helped that many of these things were either unexplained or fabricated to fit the Black Knight narrative. In a conspiracy theory, Kevin, no, never. Let's start with Tesla's counting signal, as this was actually unexplained for a long time. At the time Tesla was running his experiments, Italian inventor and politician Marconi, the radio dude, Marconi, happened to be in the United States doing demonstrations of his wireless telegraph. This was something that scientists had been working on for at least 50 years by that point, but nobody had tried using radio waves as a method of transmission.
Not every 27
had,
seconds.
their attempts failed, and they weren't famous enough for Marconi to have heard about their experiments. Regardless, initial speculation was that the signal Tesla received was actually Morse code being transmitted by Marconi's wireless telegraph, or if not Marconi, a signal from someone else performing experiments with radio. A more recent theory is that Tesla actually stumbled upon something that wouldn't be officially discovered until almost 70 years later. A pulsar, yes! It's a pulsar! I told you I was talking about pulsars and the boop, boop, boop. These are stars that emit radio signals that can be picked up on Earth, and that sounds pretty much exactly like what Tesla was describing. So that's but pulsar, does it go bup, 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 bup? I thought it was more just like
no one, buddy.
Bup, bup, as it pulses round.
I'm having a stroke up here.
So there's multiple plausible explanations for what Tesla heard that do not involve aliens. And that brings us to Jorgen Hals and the LDEs that he heard in 1927, as well as those heard by the French expedition. This is actually still an unsolved mystery, though there's no dispute about whether or not Hals really heard what he claimed to. The reason Hals was the first person to observe LDEs is because commercial radio was still a new technology at the time, but the phenomenon isn't exceedingly rare. People pick up LDEs all over the world with moderate frequency. The problem with LDEs is that they're sporadic and unpredictable. They happen often enough, but since you never know when a broadcast will result in LDEs, it's difficult to set up an experiment to really study them. As a result, the cause of these anomalous echoes remains unknown. But they're just that. They're echoes. I understand why it would be cool to know when they come from, but we don't jump to aliens when it's an echo, do we? If you've got a sensible brain. Researchers have proposed 15 different natural explanations for LDEs, 5 of which are believed to be more likely than the others. Unfortunately, because the unpredictable nature makes them difficult to study, we can't really narrow down that list yet. We can't really narrow because the other 11 don't look like a satellite at all. The image I shared kind of looks like a large...
Picture this.
In a world of conformity, it's often the innovative that stand out. At FlexJet, we've built a state-of-the-art operations control center with an international fleet of private jets and helicopters.
A brighter, wider smile, thanks to Crest. Bring on whiter teeth that last 12 months.
Angular three-dimensional object if you squinted it hard enough. But the other images all make it look more two-dimensional, and there's good reason for that. It's not a satellite. It's a blanket.
Say what?
What? During Endeavour's STS-88 mission, the one which the photographs were taken on, the goal was to connect a new attachment to the ISS. It was a week-long mission involving 3 spacewalks, and everything went smoothly. In fact, it all went ahead of schedule, but maybe the astronauts were trying to go a little too fast because one of them accidentally lost some of their equipment. A blanket? What are they doing with a blanket? You can hear the recording where Commander Robert Cabana says,
"Jerry, one of the thermal covers got away from you."
Oh, okay, thermal covers. It's like a space station blanket. These are covers meant to protect the space station from the sun, and 4 were being installed on the new attachment to the ISS that day. One got away, and Sergei Krikalev snapped some images of the thermal blanket as it drifted away from the ship. I'm pretty sure there's even a video of when it first escaped from astronaut Jerry Ross. It's quite disappointing, isn't it? What was the Black Knight satellite? It turned out to be a blanket, didn't it? And after all of this, that's all the Black...
Well, I don't believe it.
Yes. Hey, look, is that our buddy?
In 1989, a man with a blurred face said on television that the United States...
Yes, that's him.
Oh, no. My ring.
You think you know someone until they make an unexpected leap.
Government had 9 alien spacecraft in its possession. Then, inexplicably, this man asked the station to remove the blur because his life was already over, essentially. This man is Bob Lazar, and if you've kept up with any of the alien UFO disclosure stuff over the last long time, since 1989, you've definitely heard his name. But just because you may know his name, I would bet that you don't know the full story. For example, by the time Bob had said this on television with his face blurred.
Well, there's several, actually 9 flying saucers, flying discs that are out there of extraterrestrial origin.
His first wife had been dead for 3 years, and she was a convicted murderer 15 years older than him. She died of carbon monoxide poisoning in their garage 2 days before Bob bigamously married his second wife. There was no autopsy. Bob Lazar's college degree came from a school that the federal government was prosecuting as a diploma mill the year that he graduated. He'd also filed for bankruptcy, and the next year he would plead guilty to felony pandering for running a prostitution operation out of a Las Vegas apartment complex. So logically, by every standard of credibility, you should ignore the pimp fireworks salesman. The problem with ignoring him is that what he said in 1989, in 35 years, none of his claims have been fully disproved. And some of it has gotten less easy to dismiss, not more. Things have come true over time, sort of an Alex Jones situation. But enough of that. This video is about Bob Lazar. It is a video about a man that you should not believe and about why there is a cult of people who do anyways, including, in a lot of ways, me. I believe a lot of what he says. I'm going to go down on it. Okay, guys, I'm going to go right down on it and give that shit a sucking. I'm going to go right down on it, suck that shit sideways.
What is this guy? An idiot.
He's an idiot. Man.
Is that a weird way to intro a video?
Yeah. It's weird to make it.
This starts in Las Vegas, the year of our Lord, 1989. In the spring, a man walked into a Vegas television station and told the news director that he had a story to tell. The station was KLAS, the CBS affiliate. The news director sent him to George Knapp, KLAS's chief investigative reporter who'd spent the previous decade covering organized crime in Nevada, which is very dangerous because it's kind of what Nevada was known for at the time. Knapp, in fact, had won many regional Emmys for his casino reporting and had never covered a UFO story in his life. You could say that he was a legit journalist. You could say he was very credible. The man had been introduced to Knapp through John Lear, the son of the inventor of the Learjet and a former CIA contract with a long-standing public interest in UFOs. Lear was a known figure in UFO subculture and not, on his own terms, a credible source. But he was connected, and he was the kind of person who would not have brought a stranger to a working reporter without a good reason. So the blurred man told Knapp that he'd worked at a hangar called S4 in the desert southwest of Groom Lake on what he described as 9 recovered alien spacecraft. S4 sits inside the Nevada. Myself, I'm going to make it look like I was murdered. I'm going to write a note. I'm going to sign it Hillary Clinton. The man on KVEG that night had a story that physicists in 1989 said was completely impossible. And Knapp's first thought when meeting Bob was that he was a fantasist. His second thought was that everything that Bob Lazar described to him had geographic specificity that no fantasist would risk. What is a fantasist? I'm not exactly sure. Comment down below if you know. I think that's just someone who makes shit up. The first time Bob Lazar said he went to S4 was December of 1988. What's S4? Well, S is a letter, 4 is a number. He said that he was driven from McCarran International Airport to Indian Springs Air Force Base, which is on the Nellis Range, about an hour northwest of Las Vegas.
So I'd go out there, I'd drive out to EG&G Special Projects, which was right in McCarran Airport at that time.
From Indian Springs, he said they put him on a bus with the windows blacked out. Bus drove south, deeper into the test site toward a place not on any public map.
The bus has the windows blocked out of it.
Lazar described the route to Knapp in detail, from McCarran to Indian Springs by car, then from Indian Springs to the test site.
Yeah, how is he describing in detail the windows are blacked out? Not
By
that
a specific road.
What was that?
So how does Bob Lazar describe the route from where he lands at 51 to area S4 with the blackened out windows?
Yeah, that's just, there's a lot of that goes on with Bob, and there is a lot of problems with his credibility. But
as far as I know, I don't think Bob ever gave a detailed description of the route. He just said it was about 15 miles southwest was his best guess, and only because he knew where it was on the map. Other than that, I don't think he ever described he described once he got out of the bus what it was like to walk up to the door to S4, but he didn't.
Well, I know in recent times, last decade or so, last 5 years really, he said a lot of stuff he hadn't said before. So, I haven't had time to go.
Some new stuff has come out. Yeah, I'll agree. Yeah,
road that he traced on a map in Knapp's office. The route, well, obviously, was not on any public document. Knapp checked it, and the road did exist. It appeared on a topographic map of the Nevada test site that, at the time, was not widely distributed. The bus drove south towards Papoose Lake, which is the dry alkali flat about 15 miles south of Groom Lake. Groom Lake is what civilians call Area 51. Civilians like you guys. I call it Groom Lake because I'm awesome and I know about aliens. And I also know
right now I think it's called Dreamland Ranch. So
that Papoose is the lake bed that nobody talks about. Lazar said the bus stopped at the base of a low hill on the western edge of Papoose Lake, and there were hangars built into the side of the hill, 9 of them in a row, with each having a sloped front that matched the angle of the hill it was cut into.
The S4 installation is built into the mountain, and the hangar doors are built on an angle commensurate with the slope of the mountain.
The hangars, he said, had been designed to be invisible from above. A satellite passing over Papoose Lake would just see a hillside.
If you get really close, you can actually see the tracks.
Yeah, well, yeah, we drove right along that. Yeah, like that's unquestionably where we were.
Inside one of those hangars, he said, was the craft. When the door opened, the craft was already in front of him. Lazar said his job at S4 was reverse engineering, aka taking alien shit and making it human shit. And Lazar's team's task was to figure out how a craft built by something other than humans could produce the propulsion it produced. And I'm going to need you to produce me some produce. He said he was given binders to read on what the prior teams had concluded. And he said the prior teams had not gotten very far. It looked like a disc, or 2 discs, actually. One larger on top and a smaller one set on it like a hat. The whole surface was, in his words, all smooth like it had been a wax casting. No seams, no rivets, no surface, no features at all. Sort of like my scrotum.
You said something about you looked into one and it was all smooth like it had been a wax casting or something. Yeah, exactly.
It sat on 3 small landing pads that were barely raised off the floor. The craft had an opening on the underside about 4 feet tall. And there was a single chair in the center, small enough that an adult would have to fold themselves into it. There were no controls on any surface, no screens, no buttons, nothing he recognized as a display. To be clear, he never claimed to have flown the craft. He claimed the craft responded to his presence in some way that he wasn't allowed to describe in detail, or wasn't able to describe in detail. That is the part of the story he's been the most consistent about for 35 years and least willing to expand upon. The other 8 craft in the row of hangars, he said he was not allowed near.
Now, was that the only one you looked into, or was the other one, was there another one you looked into? No, it was the only one I looked into. Huh. The other ones I just saw from a distance, so I don't know any detail.
An important detail is he said the 9 craft were also completely different in appearance, but he wasn't shown enough of them to say exactly what the differences were. The one that Bob was shown, he called the sports model, and in his telling, was not from this planet.
And the one you looked into, was that the sport model? Yes, exactly. And that's the only one you saw fly as well? Right.
Okay. Now we get into the part of the story that most physicists in 1989 said was bullshit nonsense. And a lot of physicists now, to be honest, too. But this is also the part where some physicists at the time maybe were wrong a little bit. And Bob Lazar was right, which is really crazy. What Bob Lazar said was that the sport model ran on antimatter. The reactor at the center of the craft, he said, used a small amount of a specific element to generate 2 effects simultaneously. One was antimatter annihilation, which produced the craft's electrical power, and the other was a gravitational field that surrounded the craft and propagated outward. Lazar was specific about how the gravity worked. He said, "It's not a gravity generator, it's a gravity amplifier." He described the reactor itself as the power source, saying, "The antimatter reactor provides the power for the craft and the basic low-amplitude gravitational wave." What he meant, I think, in his telling was that the craft didn't make gravity. It took something that already existed at the atomic level and just cranked it up. He said the gravity wave existed inside heavier elements and normally stayed inside the atom. The element, apparently, that produced this effect, he said, was atomic number 115. In Lazar's later telling, element 115's strong nuclear force did not behave the way that it did in lighter elements. In lighter atoms, the strong force binds protons and neutrons together inside the nucleus and is just contained there. In 115, he said the field extended past the atom. So the reactor's job was to focus that field.
All right, you're officially protected by America's #1 motorcycle insurer. Because, hey, we know it's more than just a bike. It's freedom.
So what do you think so far?
Well, he's got a few things wrong. He's not quite on the ball there.
Pacific University was selling unaccredited degrees to people who had not done the academic work. Basically, the kind of degree that I want, that I'm going to have eventually one of these days.
Didn't mean to drop it on you.
I'm study enough. Lazar's defense for this was Gene Huff, his closest friend who.
Damn, I couldn't get it to stop for nothing.
What did he have wrong, Jay? What did he say?
So one of the things I got to just remember what it was. Okay, it's actually two things. So inside the craft, he says that Bob Lazar describes one chair in the center. No, Bob describes 3 chairs and 3 different consoles. And then he also describes when he was inside, they first showed it to him, it was off the very first time. But when he went to the flight test, the machine was on. When they opened up the hangar bay in front of him, the machine was on and hovering off of the floor. Then they entered it. And when they were inside, someone did something to a panel and operated one of the inside. There's like archways that are seamless, but when you turn on the archway, the metal skin becomes clear, and you can turn it into a 2-way window where you can see both inside and out, or a 1-way, whether you can see in or out only. And that's what they did. But on half of the arch was what he called alien hieroglyphs or data information. So there was a display. So the guy's got that wrong. He's described both of those things. And element 115, the guy says wasn't around at the time. Well, it was top secret, but it was on the. I remember it in high school being on the table of elements, it being element 115, UUP, unum pentium.
Mm-hmm.
All those things he got wrong.
Okay.
Explained later that he had taken English and history course at Pacifica because Lazar needed those credits to assemble a degree, having done the science work elsewhere. The defense itself confirmed that Pacifica was being used as a credential laundering pathway. So that's not good. Friedman went to MIT next, and the MIT registrar had no record of anyone named Robert or Bob or Big Dick or Dennis Lazar having ever enrolled, attended, or graduated from the school. There was no thesis on file, no commencement listing, and Friedman wrote after these findings, no such thesis exists at MIT, and he is not on a commencement list, meaning Bob Lazar's thesis did not exist. Bob Lazar never went to MIT. According to MIT, Caltech was the same story. When this was pointed out to Lazar, his answer was that his work at S4 was so classified that the government had retroactively erased everything else about him from the public record. Friedman's response in his published investigation was, the notion that the government wiped his civilian records clean is absurd. Professor Lazar named at Caltech, Bill Duxler, turned out to have actually taught at Pierce Junior College. Pierce confirmed Lazar took electronics courses there, but not Caltech. And Friedman put it this way. He said, quite obviously, if one can go to MIT, one does not go to Pierce. Not to shit on Pierce, but apparently it's not quite as good as MIT. Friedman also pulled Lazar's high school transcript and found him ranked 261 out of 369, meaning he's in the bottom third. Now, all that being said, there is one document in the story that does not behave the way that debunkers say that it does. The Los Alamos National Lab wrote it in 1993. To understand the Los Alamos document, you have to start way back in 1982. On June 27th, 1982, the Los Alamos...
What?
I was working on one greasy pan. I went to get a scraper, and that's why I switched to Dawn Pro. It cuts...
That is why I switched to Pro, man, because I'm the pro. Yeah, I'm the pro.
Monitor, the local newspaper of the town where the Los Alamos National Laboratory sits, published a profile of a young engineer who had built a jet-powered Honda, a stainless steel and titanium jet engine on a Honda body burning liquid propane capable of over 200 miles an hour at a dry lake bed near Los Angeles. The byline was Terry England, and the headline was LA man joins the jet set at 200 miles an hour. And in the body of this article, England identified the young engineer by his name and his employer. He called him a physicist at the Los Alamos Mason Physics Facility. In a 2021 interview, Terry England said that he had taken Lazar's self-described physicist job title at face value and had not fact-checked it. But that phrase was in print in a local newspaper in 1982, 7 years before Bob Lazar went on television and 6 years before he said he started at S4. So it is at minimum evidence that in 1982, Bob Lazar was in some way connected by some form or another to Los Alamos National Laboratory. And a 1982 internal Los Alamos phone directory also lists him by name, Lazar Robert, with the designation K/M next to it. K/M stood for Kirkmeyer, a contractor that supplied technical staff to Los Alamos. But then in 1989, when Stanton Friedman called Los Alamos to verify Lazar's employment claim, Los Alamos said they had no record of him. But by 1989, the Bob Lazar UFO story was also national. So there's conflicting documentation and evidence. They say they have no record of him, but there is record of him for sure there in a phone book. So that's kind of interesting. And George Knapp had a question in regard to that of his own. If Los Alamos was saying there was no record, how did the Los Alamos Monitor describe Lazar as a physicist at the Mason Physics Facility in 1982?
Google asked how old Bob Lazar was in 82.
Hey, Google, how old was Bob Lazar in 1982?
Bob Lazar was 23 years old in 1982.
It's possible he worked there. Yeah, but okay. So there's one thing this guy's missing, and people keep forgetting about this. Stanton Friedman found it. There's at least one IRS form submitted by Bob Lazar, and Friedman actually deep dived it. He took it. I mean, he went through every box where there was information. And he found out what that information meant. The IRS form informed Mr. Friedman that not only did Bob work somewhere in that facility, he was a contractor with EG&G, who was working. He worked for EG&G, but was contracted to the Los Alamos facility because the codes on his IRS form show him to be working in that area of the country, and that's what he was. He was taxed on those top secret funds he was paid from Area Sector 4.
So that's not okay. So all right. So that tells you there's a problem. So when you work for a industrial complex for the military, you don't pay taxes the way everybody else does because it's a security.
But you still have to file a form.
Yes, but not the way you think. They're classified. So you can't. You just can't go in and get them. Stanton would have never been able to get hold to it. If it was a real document, he would have never been able to get hold to it. Matter of fact,
I remember seeing it.
Nah, if he did, they would have came and got him and locked him up. There is no doubt about that. I have too many people I know who worked at these facilities. They would have locked
shown on several documentaries.
Yes, but it doesn't mean the document is. It doesn't mean the document's real. A real so it's not, this is the easiest way to understand this, people. If you would have released a document from S4 without its permission, you're going to jail. I don't give a fuck who you are. You're going to jail. If it's a real document, your ass is going to jail. The fact that they didn't come arrest him tells you it wasn't a real document. Plus, at 23, he wouldn't have been working at S4. They wouldn't even let him out there. He wouldn't have the degrees he needed to be out there at 23.
Hey, guys, I got to run. I got to go.
Okay. All right, be good, baby.
All right, bye.
Thanks, Sean.
Dad, trouble, Sean. He would he would have had to been a genius, and Darius showed it his high school. He wasn't a genius. So at 23, you're not even through regular college. You're not even got into getting into your math. Nah, not somebody like him.
Graduated 18, 4 years, 21, 22, you get out.
No.
You're working in the sector.
To get a PhD, you got to do 4 years of bullshit college first. There's no way around it.
Doesn't have a PhD though.
That's not what he said though. He said in the beginning he was fully accredited when he went out there, which means he had degrees. You're not even getting a job at S4 without a degree anyway. It's not going to happen. They're not going to put you out there, non-degreed people. There's too many people that wanted out there that knew what the fuck they were doing. He's supposed to be a PhD physicist is what he was supposed to be. And then over the years, I noticed that little stories changed here and there and there and here, which you're not going to get now. But I'm telling y'all, when you go back to the document of Los Alamos where they say he was working as part of the janitorial commission, then it makes sense. The whole story makes sense. But in the other way, he just doesn't have the background in any of it. So let's put it this way. I would bet you $1 million if we went out to anywhere in S4 right now and you went and talked to any scientists out there, they're not coming from any crappy schools at all. Yeah. And not just because of the learning part, but because of the security part. They're not gonna risk top people like that. And we both seen what's recently happened to 10 scientists.
It's like 15, I think, or 16 that have been.
Well, they found some.
Strange.
Well, they found some, and it's been really weird. But they found some, and then they found 3 or 4 that actually the deaths were legit. So coincidences like that are really weird. Which you never know if it's a coincidence or not. But these seems like they were. These 4 deaths they're talking about. The one girl had a heart attack running up a mountain. She was 48, 49 years old. And when they did the autopsy, she had several arteries that were partially or half clogged. So, yeah, it's legit. And there was other things that people just had legit problems that they weren't aware of, and it killed them. Okay, those are fine. It doesn't explain the rest, whether it's 10 more, 6 more, 8 more. It doesn't explain the rest. The rest are just, you had people go missing.
And not return.
Yeah, and then 6 months later return dead, or it's I don't know. It's a bit much. But getting back to Lazar, Jan. So I'll tell you something about Lazar. I think Lazar is at least partially telling the truth because I know other people who have been up close to the model he's talking about, the type of craft he's talking about, which is the retrieved crafts that we got back, the one we took from the Germans. That's a craft he's talking about. So I know other people who have seen this craft, including some of the staff that worked for Vernon von Braun. So I don't doubt what he saw because at the time he described it, no one had really been talking about it. So that's not an issue for me. All the rest of it, though, unfortunately for him, he had such a checkered beginning. No, everything the guy says about him in the beginning is true. All that stuff Bob did. Bob was an idiot. He was one of those guys. He was experimenting. He was having fun, and he was an idiot. Well, sometimes geeky guys don't have the best sense of right and wrong. They have issues with that sometimes. Really brilliant people's values don't always work the same as everybody else's does. But regardless.
Yeah, I mean, but Lazar even admits if he hadn't taken his friends out to that desert every Wednesday regularly to watch the regular UFO flights from his work, he would have never been caught.
He's well, Jenny, he's just not okay. Let me redo this for you again. So let's say he was who he says he is. Right now, he'd be working for some military contractor making buku dollars. Okay, he would be, because if he was who he said was, and he was that involved with the operations of those working with those craft, any military contractor would have picked him up, and they would have done it in a heartbeat, and they would have washed over his record and said, "Hey, look, you fucked up. Don't talk about it anymore." And that would have been the end of it, and he would be a millionaire. And don't think he doesn't want to be a millionaire, because he's tried many ways to make money. And prostitution, by the way, is not the first time he's done prostitution. Reason he got in trouble, he was fairly famous ufologist when he got in trouble. He opened like one of the horse ranches in Nevada. The whorehouses. Yeah, the whorehouses, they're different though. So you can come stay a couple of days at a time and stuff, and they set you up with a room, and all the food and everything else. It's like you pay a fee and you just stay there. Well, we found out about it when I was in the Navy, because they had one right down from Fallon, Nevada, and the guys No, they even had an officer section. It was weird. Yeah, because officers would go hang out with these girls and this would all hang out. But regardless, you just get a room and stay there. And you always had a girl waiting when you came back to the room. Yeah, it was crazy. Oh, it was crazy. It was the food was good, the company was fun, and we were working our asses off. So thinking about it, we were doing sometimes 48 hours on, and instead of going to the barracks and going to sleep, we was going to the whole house to party for the next 48 hours. Yeah, we lucky we didn't kill somebody. Well, you're young, you're stupid, you know. Yeah, it's just one of the things. Oh, you know what my favorite thing is to tell liberals? Don't be a hater, be a masturbator. You'd be much happier. Yeah. I mean, really, you'll be much happier. No, it was a saying I started saying, oh God, 10, 15 years ago. And then I give it a break every once in a while, but it's true. Don't be a hater, be a masturbator. Yeah, you'll be so much happier. You'll be smiling all the time. People be like, why is your right arm so much bigger than your left arm, man? Oh, I just haven't been working it out enough. But give me a couple weeks. We'll catch it up. Anyway, no, we're gonna play some more of this, and then we still got a bunch of news we got to get to. It's getting late. We started fucking around with this UFO stuff. Yeah, but hold on, we're gonna clip through this pretty quick.
To parent institutional access. So after that question, Knapp wrote to Los Alamos to inquire further. In August of 1993, he got a letter back. The letter was from Diane Benegas, public information specialist at Los Alamos National Laboratory. And she wrote, "We have no personnel records on. Our personnel people tell me we only archive records of Los Alamos employees. That is, those of us who are employed by the University of California." So, Los Alamos did not say Bob Lazar never worked there. They said he was not their employee to keep records on. He was, as the phone directory suggested, a contractor. The Tech 3 positions at Los Alamos in 1982, Benegas wrote, required no 4-year degree, just a 2-year technical certificate or equivalent experience. But they did require a Q clearance, the Department of Energy's top secret clearance for nuclear weapons access. What that means is that in some form or another, the simple debunk collapses under one of the lab's own letters. What it does not mean is that Lazar was a physicist at Los Alamos, though. He was more likely a contractor with clearance, which is its own kind of credible and its own kind of insufficient. Kirkmeyer's records of Bob Lazar have never been produced either. So there's not a lot of information out there. There's not many people in those institutions.
Well, I got to help this guy get debunked on the no college thing, the no degree thing. So
yeah,
a good friend of mine who retired from Los Alamos. Well, this is a weird story. So I got a couple friends that work these facilities. Well, they all started at the same place, at the WIP facility. The WIP facility is an underground facility where all the non-weapons grade nuclear waste is stored, like medical waste and stuff like that. And it's all stored there. Matter of fact, I got them all in trouble because I cropped the UF. They had this big underground, they were showing the big underground storage areas, and the whole group of them was standing in it. And I cropped in a flying saucer behind them and then posted the picture. I got everybody in trouble, including myself. But anyway, the point being, they all worked there. Oh, well, they all got promoted out of there. G went over to Yucca Mountain along with another friend of ours. Kay went to Los Alamos with her supervisor. We had 2 people go out to Area 51 and Area 54, and there was somewhere else out there they went. But regardless, and all of these people, by the way, all of them are iCard directors. He's still to this day. Yes, because they have an interest in all this stuff. But no, so I would call, I called Kay and said, "Kay, you're at Los Alamos. Can you pull a record?" She said the first time she pulled them, she didn't get anything. So she did it was a 50-year. Oh, she asked her boss how far back she could search. She said she was looking for payroll records for somebody. She didn't even say who it was. She said, "Oh no, this is how you do this." And he showed her, and that's how she found Bob Lazar's thing. Now, somewhere on the web, we published a copy of this. Where is this? 2026. So this would have been like 1997, 98, maybe 99. We published a copy of this. And then again, I think in 2004, they published a copy. Now, if you ever see it, because it is floating around out there, it used to be on a website, but that one of those, the website it was on got burnt by the company, by the way, which was weird. But anyway, if you ever see it, you'll notice there's notes on there talking about that we don't, as the organization goes, we don't not necessarily believe that he saw the craft or even if it was in the craft. We just don't believe what he did was what he said he did. And I can understand it because, you want credibility in the world. Then you need to make him think you're something other than you are. Because if he came out and said, "Oh, I'm the janitor," which is, by the way, is a big deal to work janitor at Los Alamos, guys. I don't think y'all understand. Yeah. If you ever seen a TV series Eureka, then you might have an understanding of what we're talking about. But
well, hang on a second here. I've got an image of Bob's. Let's see if it has the date on it. Yeah, 1989 W-2 wage and tax statement, employer's identification number. I'm going to look that number up, and I'll give you a report on that in just a minute here. I got to write it down because it's on a picture, and I can't copy and paste it.
Yeah. What, Jimmy? No, we don't. Nobody really. We don't. Yes, if you go by some of his bad choices, he might not be the best guy to believe. But I'm not telling you to believe everything he's saying. I'm just telling you he saw the craft because I know other people have seen it. That's the only thing I'm saying. What he did, what he didn't do. All I can tell you is what we stumbled across. And remember, as far as we know, somebody knew we were looking. They shouldn't have known because it was, the calls. But, iCar was a monitored agency. It still is. They still monitor all the phones. I imagine right now they're having a shit fit because I don't have a cell phone turned on. I'm waiting for a new EBC system, a new emergency broadcast system. So I'm not going to activate my cell until I get it. But, yeah, I mean, it's just, they listen to a lot of stuff. And you could tell because they would show up at places at meetings or show up at when we would go out to contact spots or go out for sightings. They just show up out of the blue. Yeah, and then we get people who called into like Wake Up USA. They had one guy, he was always on the system, always. Matter of fact, I think it was like 8 or 10 weeks into the show, or maybe even a little longer. It was about 5 months. I said, "Look, dude, if you're gonna hang out, one, don't keep the phone so close to your mouth because you sound like you talking dirty to me, going, I'm like, dude, stop it." I said, 2, why don't you just mute it? And I said, that way there's no shifting air going across it. And I said, and 3, if you really want to know something, pop it back on, say, "Hi, this is Black Voice, whoever," and ask your damn question. And he used to call himself Deep Throat like the other guy did. So, no, he'd pop on live in the middle of a show. Yeah, no, he was into the system. They were hacked into the system. Back then, it was much different. See, today it's chaotic because there's so many podcasts and there's so much stuff going, so many directions. But back then, there was only a few of us that had any access to anybody of any consequence. Well, there's still a lot of people I can access that other people can't. But regardless, in Bob's case, when it comes to the ship, I'm not going to get into anything else. I think he was telling the truth. What he did and what he didn't do, I don't know. I've seen 3 or 4 different things that he could be. I know he really likes prostitution and rockets. That's a weird combination, if you ask me. But hey, more power to him. No, he was involved in a couple of those, and then he was involved in some other shady things, and then he was involved in this little shady rocket business too. But when you ain't got a lot of money, sometimes you got to be a little shady to get things going. Anyway, let's get back to this guy. No,
yeah, nothing's coming up with that number. It comes up unidentified.
Yeah,
this number is invalid. But I'll bet you it was at one point. And I know they spoke about it on whatever documentary I saw when they talked about that particular number. And it's either EG&G or Sandia National Laboratories. I forget which one. It's one of those two.
Yeah. What's it, Jack? No. So getting back to what we were talking about. So if Kay knew exactly, and she'd been with him a long time. So Los Alamos itself, you had your scientists and then you had your interns. But the interns were people who were working to get degrees. Now, on the other base, not on actual Los Alamos, but there was I forgot its name, but it was a sister base. Everybody who did like tech stuff, who were working on electronics, those you didn't have to have but a basic degree in electronics, like any 2-year business, or what do they call them?
Associate's degree.
Yeah, but when you go to one of those schools that's
tech college.
Yeah. So it's like a 2-year tech school, yeah, which a lot of people do and go get jobs in tech fields.
But it's more than that. I mean, it's not the tech school these dudes went to wasn't to come to your house and fix your electrical problems. It was to design electrical systems or work on electrical systems in some other capacity, like designing them for a new.
Well, no, I'm not talking about them. No, see, that's the scientist stuff. I'm talking about the people who were getting the schematics and working on them. So, you had this group of scientists working at Los Alamos, but see, like when the guy said about the 2 years thing, you weren't going to find anybody at Los Alamos with that degree. Everybody was going to be degreed or on their way to getting degrees because they were the guys, they're the guys who are thinking the shit up and designing it. But the guys that used to talk about like what he would have been if they were being honest about his degree, he would have been at the other place. He would have been at Los Alamos. He'd have been over there where they were building the boards, putting the shit together. That's because they kept whole crews of them. And most of them only needed 2 years. Some of them probably weren't even degreed at all, other than the fact they took a 2-year course. And some of them may not even have graduated a course because they needed a lot of them to put all this shit together. Because they were coming up with a lot of designs, so they was putting a lot of shit together back in the day. And so they needed all them people. No, it's different now, Jack. We have assembly lines and shit now. So now the scientist develops something on a computer with his partners, and then he turns it over to a computer who just says, okay. And we even got 3D printers now that can not just print in plastic, but in other means. Well, no, they 3D print houses, dude. Come on. Fucking right they do. And it takes like a week. And it's hurricane proof, waterproof, Jesus. Oh yeah, they roll this machine out, and then it just, and it's done. And then they come put the roof on and put your walls on the inside, whatever, and it's about a third price of a regular house. Yeah. And they say they're good for at least 300 years, and they should be able to sustain at least a Cat 4 hurricane. Yeah. A lot of them are being built out in the desert. Well, when you build a house in the desert, you don't have to have the kind of roofs we do down here. They're not as expensive. No, you can do them terracotta roofs and shit, man. You can't. Terracotta here it still has to be over plywood with felt or some type of rubber felt. Nowadays, they make you use this rubberized felt shit that you put a layer of felt and you put the rubberized shit down on top of it, and then you put whatever you put on top of that. Well, it's to help it keep it watertight. Yeah, anyway, let's get back to this. Because I got some news we got to get out, and we fucking around with this asshole. It's Jay's
rushing to Bob Lazar's aid, which honestly makes sense. Now, I mentioned the Q clearance. Lazar has also said separately that he has held 2 clearances. A Q clearance at Los Alamos, which is real and required for the contractor position that he had, but there was no public record of it ever being issued, and for his work at S4, which is a higher clearance he called Majestic, which sounds so cool that it is crazy. No such clearance level exists in any unclassified Department of Energy or Department of Defense documentation. The word Majestic in U.S. UFO history appears.
Okay. Now there's even more to love. Well, that's on. So most clearances, to make this easy on people, they get these fancy names, but really and truly, they're just going to tell you Class C, Class A, Class 1, Class 10, Class 10A1. And the reason they do that is because only the people inside those groups know what those actually mean. Yeah. So when somebody asked me just this recently, somebody heard me say it one day, they said, well, you said you got a Class 10 security clearance. I said, yeah, it's extremely high. And they said, well, what does it mean? I said, it means it's extremely high. I said, what it doesn't mean is that I could walk into the Pentagon and get in, but I couldn't go in and see anything. In other words, I could go walk all throughout the halls, walk around. They wouldn't even tell me anything. But, hey, what are you doing here? But go try to walk into a room. So my clearance is super ultra high, and it was because of stuff I worked on. But it doesn't give me the right or the clearance should just go walking around in non-projects that I'm not related to or connected to. Yeah, so I could talk to somebody in the aerospace industry that works for like Boeing or Lockheed or any government contractor, and they can tell me a lot of stuff and not get in any trouble because I have advanced degrees in advanced avionics, physics, electronics, and I have Class 10 security clearance. So neither one of us would get in trouble for that. But if I started asking them questions about the development of certain things, nanotechnology or things that I have no real skills in, then it starts getting a little suspicious. Yeah, they want to know why. What are you up to? What do you plan on doing with that technology? Why are you so interested in it? Oh no, Dean, they got your whole motherfucking life with a push of a button. Oh yeah. Unless you're one of those people like Jay and I that have ultra dual lives, triple lives. Yeah, then they might have a little harder time instead. An alien.
Well, they won't. With like I've said many times, my father's nature of his work. He's kind of like another Bob Lazar on the East Coast. He worked for EG&G before he started his own contracting business for the U.S. Navy. Our phones probably still are tapped and have always been tapped from before I was born. His phone has been tapped. Anything with my last name on it is tapped. So I'm sure they're still monitoring me.
All right, watch your eardrums. Here we go.
Uh-oh.
Here we go.
Dean Files. And they also killed Martin Luther King. So I don't know if the FBI is a source of credibility at this point. And also, Stanton Friedman, who called Bob Lazar a fraud, defended the MJ-12 documents as authentic for the rest of his life. It's very confusing, to be honest with you. And the more research you do, the less clear it becomes. You kind of just have to pick a side, really. There's another fact about Bob Lazar that almost nobody talks about, including the people who have been calling him a fraud for 35 years.
So Majestic 12, he was probably not part of, because the people who ran MJ would part of the Dolphin Society. Oh, Glenn, Dolphin Society was a weird group of people. So, like Carl Sagan, he was a member of it. He had limited what he could do and what he couldn't do, but he was a member of it. But there were also 2 retired. One was a 4-star admiral, one was a 3. He had a couple of generals, some colonels, a lot of people from Boeing, Lockheed, and a bunch of other companies I had never even heard of. And that's really the people who control the alien secrets in the military-industrial complex, and really and truly control the world, because by controlling the military-industrial complex, they control the world. Think about it. Right now, we have, 9 carriers deployed? All of them have nuclear weapons on board. We've got our whole ballistic missile, the fleet, deployed right now. So we could just wake up in the morning and say, you know what? Fuck you, world. Boom. And before Putin even had his cap of fucking chino in the morning, or Xi Jinping had his fish oil coffee in the morning, which I still think is disgusting, well, it would be dead. And that would be the end of the world as we know it today.
Moscow. He'll wake up to Moscow on fire around him.
Or just disintegrate. He might not even wake up. It might just be disintegration. Or he might be in his bunker underground and not know him come out and everything's disintegrated.
Oh, holy shit. What happened?
And then he starts to glow because of the intense radiation.
Yes.
Jack, no, Thor's handle was deployed. No, don't. So originally, it's the rods of God is what they were calling it, one of the things Jay and I were playing the other day, which, and anyway,
tungsten rods.
Yeah. Anyway, so they did.
Everyone thinks they're like a pin-sized thing. These things are like telephone pole size diameter pieces of metal.
They're 9 tons a piece, people. 9 tons.
Yeah.
So they're decent size, but regardless, they said, "Oh, they couldn't get them up. They cost too much." Blah 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 blah.
They've been up there for how long?
And then the Russians took a picture of this satellite and started asking, "Well, who is this for?" It's obviously a U.S. satellite. You can tell by the way it was made. Well, when they swung around the next time around, it had what only could be described as a revolver chamber on it. You know, like you'd see on a pistol, to hold 6 rounds. Except this thing looked like it held a gun. Yeah, it's actually what it looked like a Gatling gun, but it looked like a Gatling gun with like 30 barrels on it. these are those tungsten rods.
Yeah.
These things aren't going to make any noise. They come in zooming at 32 feet per second. They're going to hit the ground with an ungodly amount of force, and they're going to level
like
everything.
500 kilotons on average.
So, and they're going to level everything for 5 or 6 miles, but they're not going to leave any EMP or any radiation behind.
Yeah. Any
Just
buildings that
massive
survive.
Yeah. Just mass destruction. Well,
And any people that survive will be dead permanently.
Yeah, the goal was to put about 100 of these up in space, and just because you can't really shoot them down, they're moving too fast and they're too heavy. So just let them rain.
And it's a metal bar. It's 4 foot in diameter, 20, 30 feet long.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Well, even if you guys blow up, it'll only probably break in half, and then you have 2 big chunks hitting the ground.
Or at best, an explosion nearby it might change its trajectory enough that it misses the target, that the city survives. That's about your best guess.
Oh no, Denise, those are MERS. MERS are multi-warhead missiles. So it's a missile that can have a lot of warheads in it. I think ours average between 16 and 21. I'd have to, it's been a while since I looked, but yeah, nuclear bombs, 16 nuclear bombs. So let's say we launch one continental ballistic missile, and it's carrying. We'll do math, make it easy. So it's carrying 20 MERV missiles inside. 20, probably 25 kilotons each, maybe 35 kilotons, but probably 25 kilotons each. So that one missile can hit 20 targets. But what it's going to do actually is, so let's say it's going to Moscow. It's going to probably send 3 or 4 of them to Moscow just to make sure the son of a bitch in place is flat. Or if it's like a military nuclear base, 3 or 4 of them are probably going to go to one base to make sure it's flat.
Yeah, because some might get knocked down. Yeah.
Yeah. So while that's going on, there'll be several other of these raining down as well. So before anybody really knows what's going on, 100 missiles will have hit the ground with 2,000 warheads. Well, yeah. So we wondered about that question. So when they tell us we have 5,500 nuclear weapons and 2,500 of them have warheads on missiles, do we count the multiple warheads? No, we count them as one missile, Jack. Yeah, fucking right, we do. So let's say you're an Ohio class submarine with 16 missiles on, but they have 260 warheads in those 16 missiles.
Well, I think they have 32 stacks, don't they? They're the Ohio's.
I don't remember. They just Google, put it. Oh, you know what?
How many vertical launching tubes do the Ohio class submarines possess?
Ohio-class submarines were originally built with 24 vertical launching tubes. Following the New START Treaty in 2017, the number of tubes on the ballistic missile variants was reduced to 20, while the 4 cruise missile conversion variants used 22 of their tubes to house vertical launch systems.
So just call it 20 vertical tubes. That's 20. How many warheads per missile?
It can vary.
20?
It can actually be up to 24, but it's usually around 16. Just ask what's your name? Average MERV missile carries how many warheads?
Hey Google, how many warheads does the MERV missiles on average carry?
The number of warheads on a missile equipped with multiple independently targetable reentry vehicles, MIRVs, varies significantly depending on the specific missile system.
I knew she was going to say that.
Historically, U.S. and Russian missiles have been designed to carry anywhere from 3 to 14 warheads. For example, the Trident II D5 missile, which is currently in service, is capable of carrying up to 12 warheads. Because the number of warheads loaded onto a missile is often adjusted for arms control treaty compliance, there isn't a single average number, as it depends on the specific operational.
How many missiles, vertical missiles, can an Ohio class carry?
The Ohio-class ballistic missile submarines currently carry up to 20 Trident II missiles.
Okay. Hey Google, what's 20 times 12?
240.
240 missiles or explosion devices from one boat. And that's just the vertical system, not the horizontal torpedo launch system, TLS.
Actually, John, they have what they call action stations. So they're subtending bases where they can actually reload nuclear missiles at. Well, the problem for a vertical stack missile is even if you could carry extras on board, which you would probably have to carry them in some way to put them in half, which you could probably do.
Yeah, you have to carry them vertically. You can't convert them once they're on board. They have to come in vertically.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So, well, even that wouldn't work because one, you'd have to be able to get them off the submarine, get them above the submarine, and then raise them and set them down in tubes. You wouldn't have a crane on the. You'd have to have somewhere that had at least had
each silo has its own elevator to raise the missile to the top part of the vessel, and then it's picked up by a crane.
Yeah. So
what do they call them on the dock? It's not called a crane. It's called a windlass, I believe.
No, they got another name for them too. But anyway, no, Jeff, that's what we're talking about. So you could. Oh no, now you could use this. You could do a subtender, but wait, one thing at a time. So we have these action stations, and this is where you bring in a submarine. Usually it's underwater facility, and it's hollowed out and all. Sometimes they're above them, they're islands, but you can't see anything because you have to access them from underwater. But regardless, they're weapons and refueling stations is what they are. At one point, we had them everywhere because we were using diesel fuel, so we had to have all these different fueling stations. But we still have a lot of these around as they store food, they store weapons, and supposedly even continental ballistic missiles. So if you just use 20 of them, you pull into one of these places, they just start loading in 20 more and send you back out to sea. No, they do have horizontal launch systems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Several different torpedo tube launch devices they have. Besides actual torpedoes, they got the Harpoon, which is a hybrid. It's a torpedo, it's a missile, it's a torpedo. They have another one that's the Tomahawk. You've probably heard of it, TLM, Tomahawk torpedo launched missile. Now these weapons can be just a regular type explosive, or they can be nuclear. But they're launched out of the torpedo tube horizontally. Then they breach the water. Then their fins open up, and another engine turns on, and they follow the terrain, like 50, 100 feet off the deck. They're not very high off the ground, and they follow the contours of what they encounter, trees, rocks, whatever, until they hit their target, and boom, you're gone. You'll never see it.
No, they got some. No, all of our no, Jesse, no. I don't know who told you that's bullshit. So all of our submarines use air compression to launch everything, torpedoes, missiles, because dude, you can't light a fire inside a fucking submarine.
Right. If you look at the early, the 60s test of the Polaris, when it breaches the water, you'll actually see a torpedo drone snap off of the bottom of it, and then 4 fins will pop out, the guidance fins, and then the engine turns on. Same thing with
you can actually see them. They kind of
it has a little sled, has a propeller sled that brings it out of the water and detaches, and then the thing opens up and it flies.
And if you look at them, they just kind of look like they're hanging there for a second before they take off, like they're getting ready to fall back down, and all of a sudden the engine kicks in.
They are actually falling back. Yes, when it's so fast, you don't see it.
It's no, because that's the way it works. It's compressed air, boom, pops them like a cork, man. I know who would think that's how you launch ballistic missiles, but it's come on, we pulled jets off with a piece of cable and steam in the old days. Great. No, now it's a little bit different. Now it's electric magnetic. Boom, and it grabs it.
It's a rail gun launching a plane instead of a projectile.
Well, technically,
it's projectile, but it's a maneuvering projectile.
Technically, the catapult, the steam catapult is pulling, and the kinetic energy is pushing.
Yes,
it's how they explained it. So, well, because it's
less wear and tear on the front gear, but still wear and tear.
Yeah.
What was the fail rate Joe. I mean, you did that. You were a launcher. What was the fail rate? How many times did the catapult pull the front gear right out of the nose of the plane?
Actually, pulling it usually didn't do it. It's the fucking landing that did it, because they would come down and they would slam because the cable would grab the back of the plane and the front wheel would just get slammed down. I seen many of them bitches come shooting off. And man, let me tell you what, people. First up, them wheels are bigger than they look. And you don't want to get hit by one who just popped the ground and is sailing along.
What are they, like 9 feet tall?
No, they're not that
Those
tall.
tires?
No, they're not that
They're
tall.
taller than a man, aren't they?
No, not for fighter jets. No, fighter jets, they're probably car size heights, but they're probably twice the width. They're super thick, and no, the tires usually
metal. Yeah.
No, Jesse, the tires usually make it. It's the fucking landing gear. The gear snaps off in the middle, or it snaps off at the wheels, or wheels go shooting off in different. One of them came in.
Gas-filled piston, right?
Yeah. Basically, it is. No, one of them came in one day. It slapped down, and the wheels just shot off right and left. So the one just shot off the carrier and went sailing down the ocean somewhere. The other one hit the damn conn tower and came bouncing back and tore a wing off. Tore a wing off of an F-14 Tomcat. Just tore it right the fuck off. Actually, it was funny, Jesse, because we would all those F-4s were debarking. We had just got our F-18s were coming in. Yeah, they were switching over. Yeah, I was there for the switch over. I hated to see the Tomcats go. They were beastified airplanes.
They were pretty cool. I liked them.
Yeah, no, I don't know, because they're better than the F-15s are, but the F-15s are still in flight, and F-14s needed more maintenance. They had swept wings.
That was the fixed wing version, right?
The F-15 is, yeah. The F-14 is no, Jackson. The F-14 was weird. First, the wings could fold because all planes that are on carriers, their wings have to fold. But more importantly, the wings could sweep backwards. So the Tomcat was the first jet that could ever could go ballistic without stalling. It could go right out into space if you let it. It's like a fucking rocket, or until it ran out of fuel, whichever came first.
Or if it had enough, I don't think it had enough thrust to get all the way off the planet, but they at least go, I'd say, 20 miles.
Well, that would do. Oh no, they could fly into 70,000, 80,000 feet if they wanted to. Yeah, they could get way to hell up there. No, they all had oxygen. They all had breathing systems and environmental systems, but no.
But they all also, every one of those pilots had to wear pressure suits, otherwise the blood in their thighs would go down to their feet. They would be dead within minutes.
The Jack, the Tomcat pilots, they would fly. They come in low sometimes. That was before the days of AWACS and shit. So, you don't know where the fuck. There were SAM missiles back then, but there weren't no AWACS systems for us to watch where they were. So you'd just be cruising on, bitch, be up your ass. Oh, Tomcat was a beast. It was fast. It was badass. It could do vertical climb. One of the reasons the Russians
take a lot of
hated
damage too, with a lot of armor on it.
Well, that's the reason the Russians hated it, because it would just go vertical, and it would just keep going vertical, and then it would watch the plane underneath it. Because the Russians would try to follow, and then they'd start to stall, and as it would stall, the 14 would just roll over and pitch down and come in super fast, guns ablazing. Didn't even need its missiles; it just come in guns ablazing, and it just shred them.
40 caliber machine gun.
It would just shred the shit out of them. It was a badass plane, and most missiles couldn't follow. They would run out of fuel before they'd catch them on a vertical climb.
Well, and the reason why we had to invoke that tactic is, particularly at this time, was the MiG, the MiG Foxbat, the MiG-29 was out, and at the time was the fastest snub fighter on the planet, fastest plane on the planet. So I mean, not because of this, S-71 was still top secret. But so publicly was the fastest fighter jet on the scene. So in order for us to even engage them in combat, we would have to let them go fly underneath of us. And then we came down, like you see in the video, like in what movie is it? The Green Lantern, when he comes down for the drone. That's what Joe described. They come down in a spiral, guns blazing, and you hit them while they're trying to come up your pipe. You're coming back at them, and that's. They couldn't keep up with us, and they still can't. Their planes cannot still to date emulate what any of our planes can, especially the F-22.
What are you talking about, Chris? What I have against China, other than they want to kill us all and take our country over?
Right. They want to run the planet.
So, it's hard. Most Chinese don't understand this. Most Americans don't understand this. Most Europeans don't. At some point, things are going to come to a head. China's going to get too big for its britches, and either Russia
going to say something like that.
Yeah, either Russia, ourselves, or Europe is going to have had enough, and there's going to be a war.
Yeah, I was going to say something. So I was going to say something. One day, someone's going to get caught with their britches down, and World War II is going to, or World War III is going to break out, and then all hell will break out. It won't be cool. But we are at a point right now that Joe and I are fairly confident with our technology, our military technology. I don't feel confident that in a ground war we would be able to invade China with our current just America. But a world war maybe, but just America on the ground in China, I don't think it's a good idea. Equipment wise, Air Force to Air Force, Navy to Navy, we got it. Even though they have us with more equipment on the water side, we've got them with more stuff in the air, and we just have proven battle systems, proven weapons, proven personnel. And we said earlier in the show, our military is a minimum 10 years with the combat experiences because of what's been happening in the last 10 years.
Actually, it would never be good for China or the United States to get into a war.
No, especially for
China. Because no, America could win a conventional war against China. They most certainly could because of a couple of reasons. One, regardless how many more ships they got than we do, we have way more planes than they do, and way more bombers and high altitude bombers that their little ships couldn't shoot down. They would just come in with a nuclear payload and take out a whole fleet at a time. Just blip.
Yeah. Well, and plus the personnel we have, like I said, we have experienced combat ready personnel. They are in fact at this moment, the bulk of our Navy is currently engaged in active combat scenarios. So China would be stupid to come at us by themselves. Like I said, we probably, their equipment wise, Navy and Air Force, we probably would take out within the first, I'd say, not even 2 weeks maximum.
China's problem is
if they gave us any trouble at all, it'd be 2 weeks maximum. But once we get our boots on the ground, China has us outmanned, 5-1 or whatever the ratio is. So that would be a prolonged, multiple year war. The air combat and the sea combat, they're licked within a few weeks.
Well, see, China's got this problem. Once America establishes air superiority, it doesn't matter what size your military is. We're just going to bomb it into the Stone Age. So everybody forgets that, no, ladies and gentlemen, Iraq had twice the size military that the United States had, standing military. We had 1 million soldiers. They had 2 million. We walked in with the Air Force for 6 months, not even 6 months, about 12 weeks. And really, there was no resistance at all. Then we started blowing up military targets on the ground. Anything we could find, we just blew up. Then we sent.
They were taking out active machine gun outposts with drone accuracy, and they're showing the videos still to this day on the news. They had nothing against us. They couldn't even tell we were in the theater until their equipment exploded. That's how bad they were.
They showed an A-10 Warhog pilot took out 26 pillboxes in one day. Took over 100 rounds in his plane too, by the way. He said, yeah, once or twice I thought I was shot. He said, I heard one hit the side of the plane. I was like, damn, that was close. And then I heard dunk, 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 and then one came through. He was like, shit, I thought it was going to ricochet in a plane for a minute.
Those things are a beast. And it's not a plane, Joe. It really isn't. It's a flying tank. It's a flying tank-busting tank.
It's a tank. No, Jay's absolutely right. It's a fucking tank.
They're low, slow, and fat and dumb, but they can take a pounding and they can deliver one back.
They got
what is it, 20 millimeter GE cannon in front, Gatling gun in front. They've got various different wing mounted pods. They can have different types of missile systems, extra fuel. I mean, the thing should not be retired. They should do what they did with the Enterprise. They should do an overhaul with it and add new systems to it and upgrade its current bad systems.
Well, they thought about that. They really did. They said the problem they're having is is the airframe.
Nobody's making the parts for them.
No, they said the airframes themselves are just getting too old.
But that's what I'm saying. They can upgrade it and start manufacturing, a B model or a C model or whatever number.
Well, that's what they're saying. If they were going to do it, they would have to just build a new body. If they're going to build a new body, they might as well upgrade it because there is a blueprint.
That's what I'm saying. It needs a service. It needs a service upgrade. It's so good. It needs to be upgraded.
There is a blueprint for it's for A10 2AB is what they call it. But it looks badass. It actually kind of looks like this A10, but it's kind of a little bit more compact, and everything seems to be.
Yeah, I would say it's more streamlined, probably. Yeah.
Yeah, and everything looks to be closed, like it had a little bit of stealth to it too. But it still had two big monster engines on it. It had all kind of redundant systems.
Yeah.
Well, no, Jack, the Warhawk has 3 hydraulic systems on it. Yeah, well, you go shooting shit up because they're close ground support. This means they go in when Marines are being shot at or tanks are being shot at.
Dudes on the ground, yes.
Yeah. They go in there when the helicopters are too slow because they might get blown. These guys come in.
Yep. When they say danger close, these are the guys that come in for danger close, which means they're going to fly right over your ass if you're the guy on the ground with the radio. We need air fire over there. They're going to fly over top of your head before they drop their ordnance. Yeah, they're going to be damn ass close.
They're going to be doing about 500 miles an hour, 450, 500 miles an hour, which sounds like they're hauling ass, but I hate to tell y'all people, that's about the speed of a Corsair 2 from World War II.
Yeah, it's slow.
That's slow.
Their maximum speed is nowhere near the F-14-15 range. They're like half that speed.
Yeah, I don't think they can go supersonic.
No, they're not. They're hypersonic, I believe.
A subsonic.
Yeah, subsonic thing.
Yeah, hypersonic's even faster.
Yes.
Yeah. No. Well, Jack here. Let's click it on right quick. Yeah.
It's not about UFOs. It is about a woman named Carol. Carol Lazar, Bob Lazar's first wife's maiden name was Nadine Asher. She was Carol Nadine Asher, born in California in the mid-1940s. And in 1975, Carol Asher was charged with second-degree murder in the state of California. She pleaded guilty and served prison time. The court records of the case have not been fully released to the public as of this video being made, to be clear. But what independent researchers have documented is that she was released by late 1977, and that after her release, she took a job at Fairchild Industries, which is a California aerospace manufacturer, as a test technician. Bob also worked at Fairchild, and that is where they met. She was 15 years older than he was, and on July 27th, 1980, in Woodland Hills, California, they got married. She was 3 years past a prison sentence for second-degree murder, and he was 21 years old. By the way, second-degree murder is killing with malice. Basically, you meant to do it, but you didn't think about it for very long. It was not premeditated. First-degree murder is when you plan it out and you kill somebody. So, just for a little clarification there. This little guy has something to say. I am not able to understand the amount of drama that has plagued this man's existence. Bob Lazar, that is. Always with the racism. Hey, I'm not racist. Bro's a straight anti-Semite, too. He starts yapping.
He's trying to steal something from AJ
and all this crazy stuff.
There.
For 6 years, they were married. Bob Lazar moved through the early 1980s as the Los Alamos Monitor described him. He built the jet car in 1982. The encounter he says he had with Edward Teller, the physicist who fathered the U.S. hydrogen bomb, happened in June of the same year. By the middle of 1982, Bob Lazar's name was on the Los Alamos phone directory as a Kirkmeyer contractor. He was, by every account, a young man building experimental projects on credit and on his own enthusiasm, a pattern that 4 years later would end him in bankruptcy court. Anyways, back to the marriage. Bob Lazar's account of the marriage in later interviews is that Carol was unhappy and that she was ill. There are no contemporaneous public accounts that document either claim, to be fair, but what is in the public record is that by the start of 1986, Bob had started seeing Tracy Ann Merck. And then on April 19th, 1986, Bob did something. He married Tracy Merck at the We've Only Just Begun wedding chapel in Las Vegas. He was on that date still legally married with his first wife, Carol. That's bigamy. I don't think you can do that unless you're Joseph Smith. 2 days later, on April 26, 1986, Carol Lazar was found dead in the garage of the home that she shared with Bob at 1933 and Greta Street, Las Vegas. And the cause of the death was carbon monoxide poisoning. She had run her car in the closed garage
and died from the fumes. The case was referred to the Clark County coroner and given file number 001423-86. No autopsy was ever performed. It was pretty cut and dry. The coroner did note that rigor mortis had already begun to dissipate by the time her body was found. That means that she had been deceased for hours before she was found. Bob Lazar's account of his wife's death in interviews then and since is that Carol was dying of pancreatic cancer and she had taken her own life. But no medical record of a pancreatic cancer diagnosis has ever surfaced. So, but that's also, private and all that shit. By the way, I'm obviously not implying that Bob Lazar killed his wife or that she was murdered or anything. It is just tragic, dramatic weight to this man's life that can give you either a sense to trust or distrust him. I don't know anybody who's had more crazy shit happen. 3 months after Carol's death on July 21st, 1986, Bob Lazar filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy in Las Vegas Federal Bankruptcy Court with case number BK8601623, just in case you want to look it up. The reason cited on the filing for bankruptcy was death of spouse. In the end of October 1986, Bob and Tracy were married a second time, but this time it was legally. So his first wife is now dead, and the bigamous wedding was now a real wedding, and the bankruptcy had erased everything pretty much from before. And that would be one of the craziest things in this entire man's life if her husband hadn't, in the next 4 years, done all this other insane, crazy shit. So back to 1989. Bob goes on television to tell the world about S4. In 1990, the year after, he's arrested for pandering. The charge was that Bob Lazar had recruited a prostitute named Tony Bullock and was running her business out of an apartment complex on Tamara Street in Las Vegas called Newport Cove. He maintained the computer records, kept the license plate numbers of clients, photographed clients in a waiting room, and took at least 50% of the fees. That is all according to law enforcement. 50%? That's crazy, man. On June 18th, 1990, Bob Lazar pleaded guilty to felony pandering before Judge Jack Lehman of the 8th Judicial District Court of Nevada. On August 20th, 1990, he was sentenced to a 3-year suspended sentence with probation and 150 hours of community service, a ban from brothels, and 1 year of mandatory psychotherapy. Just in case you didn't know, brothels are legal in Nevada. So, the Las Vegas Review-Journal, in its reporting on the case the next day, referred to Bob Lazar as UFO Witness Lazar, which is pretty interesting. It's important to note the Deputy District Attorney, John Lukens, told the Review-Journal that there were no drugs, nor was there any indication of force or coercion. So he had a pretty above-board sex prostitution ring that he ran out of an apartment complex and took 50% of the fees. I mean, it seems pretty crazy. Initially, one of Bob's defenses was that he was trying to help Tony, the first prostitute, modernize her business by giving it computer systems and stuff like that. But then in the actual case records and everything, it seemed like he kind of started it a little bit. He's kind of like the main guy. That's why they split 50% of the fees. A lot of Bob's supporters heavily imply that all of these things have been massively embellished and exaggerated to discredit him. A lot of people also say that this has nothing to do with aliens or UFOs, so who gives? And honestly, I get it. All right. Yeah, it does. You know what? The charge was originally aiding and abetting a prostitution ring, but then was reduced to felony pandering, which is like different from pimping. It's you use coercion to create a prostitute to.
No, pandering is asking a prostitute for her services.
But it is kind of through force because it's coercive. It's not good either way. It's bad. It's pretty bad. But like people say, it doesn't have a lot to do with UFOs or science or extraterrestrials or anything like that. So Bob later started a chemicals company, the next logical step after
he's still doing
a prostitution ring, called United Nuclear Scientific Equipment and Supplies. The company sold restricted chemicals, some of them used in illegal fireworks, by mail order. And in 2003, federal investigators raided United Nuclear's offices and pulled its chemical sales records. 2006, the company was charged under the Federal Hazardous Substances Act with 3 counts of introducing banned substances into interstate commerce. And in 2007, United Nuclear pleaded guilty. The corporation paid a $7,500 fine and was placed on 3 years of probation. As a part of the plea, the government agreed not to bring personal charges against Bob Lazar or his third wife, Joy White. That's a lot of run-ins with the government. They really seem interested in this guy, to be honest with you. Then on December 22nd, 2015, a 31-year-old woman named Janelle Sturtzel died of thallium poisoning.
know, see those things getting in my time. What the hell is going on here?
That's Pro. It cuts through tough commercial grease
Okay,
and easily rinses
now
away.
you can't even mute the
Dawn Pro,
commercials.
the better professional grease getter.
Reasoning. In Houghton, Michigan, the Michigan State Police and the FBI traced the thallium back to United Nuclear's online store. And in 2017, agents arrived at United Nuclear's offices in Michigan. Bob Lazar cooperated, giving investigators voluntary access to the company's computers. He was not a suspect, and the search warrant the agents had brought was not served. In subsequent interviews, Bob Lazar has at times implied that the 2017 visit was government pressure related to what he saw at S4 site right now. So thank you to me for sponsoring this video. Remember the qualifying exams? There's not many lone wolf scientists. Friedman investigated Lazar in person. He visited MIT. He visited Caltech. He pulled Lazar's old high school transcripts at Westbury, Long Island. He drove to Pierce Junior College in Los Angeles, confirmed the only post-secondary attendance Lazar's paper trail could substantiate. He actually put in the work, and his conclusion was that Bob Lazar was a complete fraud. Now, Stanton isn't just this guy who hates UFOs, though. He thinks Roswell was legit. I wish this guy would be able to see what they got now. Oh, by the way, also, this UFO disclosure thing that's been going on recently, honestly, release the Epstein files. Finish with that first. But it's pretty exciting. I want to see more. So far, everything we've seen is the same shit we've been seeing for the last couple of years. There's been absolutely nothing new, even remotely interesting. It all just looks like the same old bullshit, or help surface a set of documents called the Majestic 12 Papers, or MJ12. The documents purported to be Truman-era briefings on a classified U.S. government program that recovered crashed alien aircraft. The FBI examined the documents and labeled them completely bogus. Philip Klass, a skeptic and aviation journalist, demonstrated that the Harry Truman signature on the documents had been photocopied from an unrelated 1947 memo. Stanton Friedman defended the MJ12 documents as authentic for the next 35 years. He died on that hill, literally. He published a book on them and defended them at conferences. He never recanted. And that is the man who called Bob Lazar a fraud. The most credentialed UFO researcher in the country believed the documents the FBI called a hoax.
Okay. Stan was a cool guy, dude. And I like Stanton a lot. And I did more than 40 interviews with that old man. We had some heated discussions on many things, including Betty and Barney Hill. But he wasn't by any means the best or most. So we got Dennis Baldface. Dude, you should check in who Dennis is. It's probably him and Ted Phillips are probably two of the top UFO researchers in the field, not abduction researchers. Mm-hmm. He's what Stanton was. They were just way better at it. And they're more evidence orientated. And I'm not taking anything away from Stanton because, like I said, Stanton and I did many shows together. We had lots of fun. And we had lots of heated discussions on what we thought and what we didn't think. But it took me a while to get him to think that it might be possible somebody could be getting taken by somebody. He would never agree if it was aliens or governments, but he would admit, well, it is possible, Joe. You know, it's only possible. He was giving me some shit on a show one night. I said, you do know, I talked to Michio Keiko about this, right? I said, would you like me to give you the episode? You go listen. He's like, you're kidding me, right? I'm like, no. I said, Neil deGrasse Tyson, two weeks later, and Dr. Paul Levesque from the Cosmic Pulse. He said, who the fuck do you? First time I heard the old man curse. That was like, of course, Jeffrey bleeped it, but still. I don't know who this guy is. You know, he's been on our screen forever. He's probably scaring off the cockroaches and stuff.
Yeah, and then he's got a little puppet. He looks like he's trying to, steal some of AJ's fire from the Y-Files. So he's got the hecklefish, and the hecklefish has the girlfriend. It's a cow or a camel. And then they have a new character. It's a little too. This guy, he's researched, but not well researched. AJ and Y-Files blows this guy away. AJ's got a huge team that does the research with him before him. Rather, this guy is probably a lone wolf and didn't get them all the facts accurate.
Yeah. Oh, Jack, let me tell you what. It's different for me. Not only over the years have I had a large group of researchers that work for me directly, but I've had a large group of radio show hosts that work for me directly. So the amount of knowledge between the two is phenomenal. Well, like let's hopefully he's not listening. We don't want his head to get all swole. Let's take a look at Sean Kelly. Now he's a host, but it's not what he was in the beginning. He was a paranormal researcher and a serious paranormal researcher who became a host. So now he's sharing his experiences with everybody. Mm-hmm. But when you do that across all the different hosts we have, the amount of information that's getting shared on any one week is staggering. It can help you to move through your to help you learn faster. So for me, it's different. So with iCar data, once it reaches a certain point, if it's not something I'm working personally, it gets sent to my attention by who's in charge of it. And then I'll review it, and then I'll, depending on where it came from, I'll probably say, well, who do you think it needs to go to? Send it to them. Well, actually, Dean, right now, we're going to start taking all kind of new people in, but right now we're redoing the organization. Well, we had a lot of people retired in the last 2 years. No, they just retired. Yeah, they've been doing it a long time. Well, you get burnt out, and I still actually tell directors this, or even researchers, you should take every few years, you should take a little time away from the field because it'll burn you out. Well, it will. I mean, because it takes a lot of energy. It's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. Anyway,
so anyway, back to this guy. One thing I'd like to clear up is
who is this guy?
As I recall, that year, 1989, George Knapp was doing the whole summer through fall he was doing stories on the UFO craze because it was the 50th or something anniversary. It was something at the anniversary of Roswell.
60.
And so all of his stories were based on those UFO subjects. So he filmed, as far as I recall, the interview with Dennis, Bob Lazar, in June or July, the historical, anniversary of the actual event. But it wasn't aired on KLAS Las Vegas TV until September. This guy said it was aired in the spring. So do your research, buddy. Like I said, if you look at the video, when they show Bob in that car, it's damn hot. And they're in the desert. So even if it was winter, you still couldn't tell. You wouldn't be able to say spring. But it was actually in the fall.
What? No, Gene, no. No, we're going to play this because we're getting really down short on time here. So.
The live human witness who described S4. And a lot of what Bob Lazar has said about S4 is also coming true.
Put a keynote on
or at least aspects of it. One of the biggest points to Bob not being a fraud and being an honest man. And one of the things that I really...
Okay, dude. Whether we believe Bob saw the UFO or not, we cannot say Bob is an honest man. He got some checkered past.
He's got a jaded past.
Okay, so I don't want to hate. Everybody makes mistakes in life. Everybody has fuck ups. Okay, so we just
look. He worked at a top secret facility. He can keep secrets. He's got secrets. All right, we don't care about those. We want to know about the S4 stuff.
We just wanted to help you out there, Brown Eyes. Okay, here we go.
Attached to be honest, is the consistency of his storytelling. Over the last 35 years, Bob has told his story. For the first time, he told it on KLAS in May of 1980.
Okay, dude, a practice lie is still a lie.
Yeah, and look, wait on, just keep it paused there for 1 second. Let me look here. Let's see. Bob Lazar, UFO hoster, on November 11th and 13th, 1989, viewers of KLAS TV in Las Vegas heard an incredible story from George Knapp, Bob Lazar. So it's not May, it's November. It's a goddamn fall, dude. Get your facts straight.
Yeah, it's almost
and
winter.
The interview, I believe, it was admittedly said to have been recorded by George Knapp and his photographer. They didn't call the video guys videographers. They called them photographers back then. I know, as I was in the school for it. Him and his photographer did that video in like end of June, beginning of July, 1989, in furtherance of George Knapp's like 6-month news story on the UFO anniversary of Roswell.
Okay. What's that, Denise? No. I was first off, this guy is high as fuck, man.
Absolutely.
Look at his eyes. He's fucked up, man. No, I'm not giving him a hard time. I mean, it's just, he's like, yeah, Daddy, can I have a
It's one thing to be
cookie?
high and say something, but it's another thing to be high and have your facts correct, and he doesn't.
Well, Jay was writing as a first assessment of the guy. He's learning. He's trying to find out what's going on, but he is probably limited to what he learns. And he might be one of these guys that likes to do the surface and then find out later on. Well, no, because
like, oops, I messed up. Yeah.
So look, I want to know something. Okay, if it's conspiracy related, I have 5 people. I'm not going to mention them by name. That I will send them something. Well, I'll tell you one of them is Amelia Pisano. But anyway, in case you listen to me. But anyway, that's 5 people I'll send it out to, and then I'll wait to see what comes back. Now, if it comes back and it's really close together, there's a couple other people I'll send it out to as well, just to see what they come up with. If it's all different, like each one sends me something different back, then I'll usually write them and say, hey, what made you come up with this particular idea? Because it's like the dimensional ghost thing, which drives so many paranormal researchers crazy, and it's such a tickling thing for me at the same time. It's like Trump making liberals bitches. This is just kind of funny to me, because whether a ghost is dimensional bleed through or not doesn't really matter to me in any shape, form, or fashion. But it is funny to see how other researchers react to it. And because
Sean was not happy.
Yeah. Well, because it can be true. It can be a dimensional bleed through. You can't rule out that what you're seeing is from a different dimension. Now that we know the multiverse exists, it's pretty much a given thing that, you can have dimensional bleed through because the veils rub up against each other sometimes. And I would imagine in moments of distress or great happiness or great sadness, you may be able to push yourself across the veil, or an individual may feel your sadness and push themselves across the veil without even thinking about it. And what I mean by that is you might be like, you may have lost your father or something. And you're laying in bed and you look up and there's your dad standing there telling you some stupid shit. You look at him and you think to yourself, no, it can't be, Dad's gone. But you're looking at this individual and they definitely look alive. They don't look dead. And you're like, wow, this is so weird. But you'll always notice something. Maybe the eye color's wrong. Maybe the hair color's wrong. Maybe they're wearing some kind of tweed weird shit shirt that your dad would probably burst into flames if he even saw himself in. And it's always weird. People's always, it's because they crossed over. No, it's because you're seeing your dad in the dimension next to us. That's what he looks like. Or that's what he sounds like. Or your dad might be exactly the same, except he might have a weird thing you don't know about. Like he might not like steak. Yeah, when you get into dimensions, there's just so many things that it can be. And the closer you are to the source, the smaller it's going to be. Yeah, it'll be like an eye color change, or you might be right-handed instead of left-handed. Just goofy stuff. No, the further away you're going to get, the more distinct the difference is going to become. Yeah, because it has time to evolve away from however you evolved to here. Yes, that sounded like psychobabble shit to me too, but it is true.
Telling the load-bearing details are the same. S4 was a hangar in the desert southwest of Groom Lake, built into the side of a hill on Papoose Lake, and with the most recent documentary that they released, they went into more detail as to that being an actual verified fact. There's a video of this guy flying, Google flying, and you can see the thing. I don't know if I'm allowed to use literal footage from the documentary in this video, without getting sued because it's so recent. But I tried to find the evidence online and I couldn't. Bob has also consistently said the craft that he was allowed to enter was called the Sport Model. It ran on Element 115. The reactor at its center amplified a gravitational field that already existed inside the atom. He held a piece of the element. He met Edward Teller in 1982. His S4 15 that was stable enough to hold in his hand across a desk for hours and not kill him or blow up or explode, but rather be used in ancient alien technology. No documented isotope of moscovium synthesized to date has had that kind of stability. However, there's a published theoretical model called the Island of Stability, which predicts that certain heavier isotopes of certain transuranic elements, including 115, should be substantially more stable than the isotopes that have been synthesized.
What, Jesse?
Yeah, that is true of our periodic table, what he's starting to say there. The fact is that in 1984, we had a blow up of proposed man-made that is to be said, created in a cyclotron elements. Uno and Pentium 115, this element they're talking about being one of those in the blow-up boxes, being a theoretically made device back even in the 1980s. The fact is that it was eventually synthesized and announced in 2013. I do believe they first said they synthesized it to where it was stable, and its half-life is like a half second. So when they first started making it, they would make it, and then a half second later, it would disappear. It would be gone. But they've made it stable now, and they allegedly have 50-some pounds of it. So what this guy's talking about, I don't know where he's getting his facts from, but he's clearly not completely fact-checked.
Yeah. Dean, to answer your question, which is kind of weird and only kind of half-assed part of this, you mean could the ancients have used that to power things that could have helped them cut stone? They could have. See, my problem is Jay and I talk about this pressure thing being one of the few ways that an ancient world could have done it. With alien help, they could have used lasers, or I don't even know lasers because there never seems to be any melt points in anything. And it does mean
a laser would either polish both sides when it leaves a cut, but an extremely high-powered electrical device might just put a clean cut in it, and then again they have exotic metals. They have a metal we call them memory metal. You can scrunch it. It's like as thin as the paper you pull out of a tinfoil, out of a cigarette pack, that kind of tinfoil. But when it's wrinkled up, it doesn't stay in a ball. It becomes liquid like the Terminator, and then flows back out to its original shape, whatever it was, and then hardens again. We have that now. That is an actual thing now. There's a thing called memory metal you can buy on the internet. It's not cheap, but you can get it.
Yeah. Oh no, they got those new memory composites. They're badass, actually.
Yeah.
Oh no, Jack, they got these. They got wing things now you can get, and they're composite, and they.
Yes. If you ever saw, there was a TV pilot for a movie starring Dan Aykroyd's brother. I think his name is David, and the movie's called Exo Man. You can catch it on YouTube. And the premise was he's a college professor who gets kind of caught in the middle of a mob war, and he has to testify on this mobster. So they break his back in an attempt to kill him. And in order to get back at the mobsters, he has this polymer that he's able to, with electricity, turn into a rigid substance that's bulletproof, and he forms a suit out of it, which allows him to now walk, but he's also bulletproof. But he only has like an hour inside the suit before it runs out of power. It's kind of like, every superhero has the kryptonite. Pretty cool concept, but it's what Joe's talking about that was in that movie. His explanation in the beginning of these plastics is phenomenally cool.
All right, now anyway, Jenny, I'm gonna answer your question before we go along, because I know we're getting short on time. So, yes, they could have used that to power something that could have created pressure to run a water pressure. Water can cut anything. I haven't seen anything yet that water can't cut, especially in the sections. But the thing I have, and so you got to make something that you can put enough pressure in that when it comes out the small, tiny ass in on the other side, which they could make something with a small tip on it. That they could do by just rolling enough copper. But they'd be changing it a lot because the water would eventually just keep cutting through it.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know what kind of bladder they would have used. See, today they would use either some kind of composite rubber bladders, which would only take X amount of pressure, even they would explode, or they use steel systems, like stainless steel systems, and they compress the system. Yeah, the air goes in, it compresses the air in there, and then it releases it. And it forces the water with an ungodly amount of pressure. Well, it's a little different than what people think, because the smaller when you watch a water cutter work, you'll notice that the little bead of water coming out is very small, 1/16 of an inch. Yeah, it's not a lot, but yet it's cutting through steel. You can watch it cut through railroad ties. It cuts it like it's butter. It's just like. They showed him one the other day cutting down the center of a railroad tie, cutting it in half. They cut it perfect, smooth, clean. Yeah, they even got these little things that washes to catch the metal flakes. But getting back to Egypt and the pyramids, maybe if they built like some kind of 5-story tall interlocked lattice or something, and filled it, and then had some kind of machine that could pump air into it to pressurize it. I don't know what pressure. Yeah, ask Google what water pressure you would need to cook. What was it? Granite that was made out of?
Yes, some of it is. Hey,
Yeah.
Google, how much water pressure would you need for a CNC machine to cut granite?
For cutting granite with a CNC water jet, you typically need between 50,000 and 60,000 psi to achieve the best results, though machines can operate anywhere from 30,000 up to 90,000 psi. The specific pressure used often depends on the required.
Hey, Google, stop.
Okay, people. So 50. That's okay. If you ever going to get your oil changed in your car and you notice you got a big red tank sitting there, and it's what runs all the tools, it's an air tank, right? That's usually 500 psi. Okay, and it takes quite a bit to create pressure in that little 500 psi tank. We're talking 50,000 psi. I can't even imagine what kind of tanks and wells they're using on 50,000 psi. It's got to be stainless steel tanks, stainless steel welds, double probably, or whatever that double rolled shit is they use. Yeah, because it's 50,000 pounds per square inch. It's psi per square inch. Yeah. 50,000 pounds per square inch. That's fucking outrageous. We cut your toes off like you wouldn't even feel it. It'd be like butter. Wow, what happened? Wow. Yeah. It's a laser war.
Even a 20,000 psi like water pressure machine to clean your house or RV. You ever accidentally roll the jet across your toes? Doesn't feel good.
Man, look.
Off, but doesn't feel good.
We had a 13600, 13800. That bitch cut through the work boots like they were nuts. Thank God I had steel toes on. They cut all the way down to the steel and even left a shiny mark on the steel. I was like, look at this shit. Pressure washers are a weird thing. So we don't really use the big ones like the 3800s. We don't so much use them for the nozzle sprays. We have these machines you hook them up to, and they're big round circles. They're have like a 3-foot pad on them, and there's a big jet underneath that. It spins, so you can do large areas at a time. Like
the sidewalk sweepers. Yeah, we sell those at the store.
Smaller. They got the smaller versions. No, these are industrial versions. They're made for like doing. You can, in other words,
it's almost the size of like one square of a sidewalk. Not quite that big, but almost.
Yeah, regular size sidewalk. And the ones we got, they call them industrial parking lot ones. They were actually probably a little bit bigger than the sidewalk.
Yeah,
but you needed the big,
all underneath. Basically a pressure washer with brushes and stuff.
Yeah, the best one for those were that they had Honda made it was 4,200 or 4,500. That's some bitch, man. Look, he would clean a driveway like.
It'll take the siding off your house. If you got vinyl siding, you won't.
Yeah. My favorite pressure washer my company ever owned was a 3,800 adjustable. So you could push it up to about 4,000, and you could lower it all the way down to 2,800. Because there's a lot of stuff we did that we didn't need high pressure. Like blowing paint off house, peeling paint. So you're not really there to use it to peel the paint off. You just use it there to take the loose paint off. Whatever.
You can use it on a deck that's gotten like mold or it's got green with algae. You can get back down to bare wood again without using a sander and a lot of elbow grease.
Yeah, it's just, and they make these special tips now that quadruple the amount of pressure coming out of it. Yeah.
Well, but also different spray patterns. You got cones, you got jets.
Yeah, you got all of that too. Yeah.
You got ones for like kind of like trickles, so you could like wet down an area that you don't want to destroy.
Bruce, he's talking about the ones that plug into the tips. So they got the small ones that are like yellow, green, black, orange, and each one, the black ones are always going to be for the same thing. It's for when you're putting out soap or something.
Yes,
that's what it's for.
The diffuser tip. It makes it foamy.
Yeah. So and it lets it come out in a decent amount of water. The other ones, though, you got your small little angle, you got your wider angle, you got your little wider angle. You got your one.
No, they even got some attachments with it. It's got like a J hook on it with two jets going out the side. If you put up inside the gutter, and
they got all that
in two directions to clean the gutter out. Yeah, there's some cool shit you can put on these machines.
Yeah, but my favorite is they got these ones. They're really heavy tips, and they got these little things inside them, and they. So if your pressure washer is 3,000, it'll increase the pressure coming out to 6,000. It's badass, man. Oh yeah, we found out the hard way where I let one of the kids one day pressure wash the front of his house, right? And the brick was, it was an old brown brick house, and the brick had faded little spots like light blue and green and all.
Yeah, and he made a clean spot and had to do the whole building.
So they took everything down to the brown in the front of the house because they thought all the rest of the stuff was dirt. I was like,
they didn't realize that it was the actual color of the brick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, they just thought it was dirt. It was just faded and dirty, and they were just getting it off. And they thought they did a great job.
The brick underneath, yeah.
So I still remember the owner gets him was a duplex. The owner gets home. He said, "We're gonna have to come do the other side now, Joe."
Yeah.
He said, "I was gonna get mad at you." He said, "But it looks really good. My wife really likes it." He said, "The color is just banging," and I was like, "Thank fucking God." He said, "Well, what happened?" He said, "It was that dirty and that." I said, "Partially it was dirty." I said, "But the kids thought all that showing where it's how to get the little patches of color." I said they thought that was dirt, so they just kept posing it until they came off. He said, "Your pressure washer took it off?" I was like, "Yeah, it's like paint." It's like, "Oh shit!" I was like, "Yeah, that's what I said too." Oh shit. I said when I seen it, I was like, "Oh shit, we're fired." He said, "No, you're a really good contractor. I'm gonna fire you." I liked contracting, Jack. Yeah, until the last couple of years, I really liked it. Well, COVID made it worse, and then we started getting these. We'll just say whiny customers and leave it at that.
Karens. Karens. That's what they are.
And finding help was getting hard. Finding decent help that one didn't want to make $40 an hour. It was getting hard. So I'll just retire now. I get bored sometimes when I go. I'll go. I was telling Linda the other day, I think I'm gonna get a job at a casino, just so I can watch the people walk around. Well, that's the thing. I can do whatever I want. I just. Oh, I got to get a car because I can't. I've been car shopping. I don't know. I'm being a whiny bitch about it. It's because the thing of it is, I don't know what I want. People, this is the first time in my life that I usually when I go looking for a car, I know what I want. I at least have an idea. Do I want a sports car? Do I want a pickup truck? Do I want a small pickup truck? Do I want, do I want just like my Camry, which is technically the Camry's a sports car, but it's a 4-door, which makes the insurance cheaper, by the way. But the little shit's fast as hell. Well, it was fast as hell. It said 140, it would do 140. Well, it was 6 speeds. Jay's, I think, what is yours, 7 or 8?
I think it's 8 speed.
Yeah, I think so.
Hey, Google, how many speeds does my 2021 Camry have?
The 2021 Toyota Camry comes with an 8-speed automatic transmission.
Yeah. No, the reason I knew that, Jane, is I think my car, or the year model after my car, was when the 6-speed stopped. And I used to rent the Camrys when we'd go places and take off. Yeah. Yeah, we'd rent the Camry and
they're surprisingly peppy. I mean, you're not going to beat a Camaro or a Mustang off the line, but I mean, you're not going to if you have to like avoid somebody doing something stupid in front of you. There's enough oomph to get around stupid people.
Oh wait, hold on. It's it gets a little weird. It really does. I don't know. This Bob Lazar thing was interesting. Kind of side note there tonight. That was kind of. It was definitely kind of strange. It was. Oh, son of a bitch. Sorry, I'm dropping shit, trying to burn stuff up and stuff.
Well, we ought to probably be getting going. I've got I've got to get to sleep here in a little bit. I got people coming tomorrow, and it's late. It's 2 a.m. here.
Yeah, I know we should already be on, but no, we're gonna go, guys. What do you mean we didn't play the rest of the Bibles? Oh, yeah, we did. What are you talking about? Where's it at? What? Oh, well, hold on here.
So far, specifically isotope.
There we go.
The Senate Majority Leader of the United States co-authored a bill whose plain legislative text presumed that recovered non-human craft and biological evidence existed and were held by private contractors. This is crazy because this is what the conspiracy crazy people have been saying since.
Anyway, keep losing stuff here. All right, there we go. That's oh, Jay got another banner up there. No, we're out of here, guys, because we got to go. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. Here it's 2 o'clock in the morning for Jay. So we finished that.
Yeah, no, I didn't put that. I guess someone else put that up there. That was the other one. Oh no, that's the one I made. Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay. You had the middle block that. All right, that's why it looks like. Well, that was kind of cool with the middle. That was weird. Anyway, no, we're gonna pick this conversation up on the chat tomorrow because I want to talk a little bit about crashed UFOs. Well, it's hard because one, I want somebody to show me evidence of all these crashes. Now, I don't want to hear about them because anybody go, oh, we got a crash UFO, we got a crash, we got these crash UFOs. Okay, first off, where's all this fucking advanced technology at? Even though the F-22 is badass, it ain't nothing really advanced out of the normal, is what I mean.
Well, I mean, come on, it's got thought control systems.
Yeah, but what I mean, Jay, is
and launch the weapons.
Yeah, but what I mean
is this is the movie Firefox made reality.
I know, but this is just a natural progression of our technology. This isn't something extra. This is just something that we've been working on for the last 50, 60 years.
Well, you know, I agree.
Everything
the idea for the technology came out of crashed foreign technology.
Maybe. And the other thing about this is, let's say Lockheed got some stuff in 1947, and maybe one or other two people did. Okay. After that, the government took that stuff and sealed that shit up. So, do the people 20 years later even know where this came from? I mean, they can hear the rumors online and all of that, but do they actually know where it came from?
Yeah.
Anyway, we're going to talk about it. No, because we got to go. So I know it's a good conversation.
And Kira says the bottom of the background image says United Public Radio and UFO Paranormal.
That's so, Jay did
it. It sometimes does that. It misspells things.
Yeah, it's AI, people. It's not supposed to misspell things.
Yeah,
no, I wasn't me. I didn't do that. Jay does the band. Well, actually, that's not true. We both take turns making banners. He just made them tonight.
Yeah, even the other night, the ones that Joe made, it took too much and it mushed them together and the words got misspelled. So yeah, we see the problem.
But thanks to these banners on StreamYard now, Google and other agencies list us as UPR instead of UPRN. Yeah, because when you make banners on here, you know, it's like when I say United Public Radio or UFO Paranormal Radio, it just puts like UPR. Yeah, as the abbreviation instead of UPRN. Mm-hmm. Confusing to people, yes. But anyway, we got to go. So everyone, I want to tell you thank you for hanging out with us. We'll be back in the chat tomorrow. We're going to definitely pick up this conversation for sure, along with some other insane topics. That what do you mean? Talking about what? The war? What war? The Ukrainian war? Okay, real quick. The Ukraine's blowing little shit out of Russia and costing them fuel. Russia's dropping all kind of ballistic missiles on them. Everything seems to be status quo. Iran.
We talked about that early on in the program, and we just thought it was funny that Zelensky is just punching Putin right in the eye and getting away with it.
Iran, really, it's going to come down to: do we want to just bomb them out of the existence, or are we just going to keep playing this stupid game? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Everything else is kind of status quo. China's always bitching about something.
Fire in the Middle East, and then everything will be nice and smooth.
Denise, China's always bitching about something. And I'm sure they say the same thing about us. Oh, Americans are always bitching about something. Well, you know what? They're probably right because they're always bitching about something.
Yeah.
Fuck you. So I will say this before we go. I think that because of the World Cup, that it helped Europeans and Asians to realize that America's not what the media tells them it is. and it's entirely something else.
Even in a country like England, how many bloggers from England said this is not what our propaganda, our news services are telling us America is like?
The way you know it had such a big difference is the amount of visas to come to the United States like quadrupled. And then the UN did a thing asking, where would you want to go live in the world? The first, when they asked it, the immediate answer was 900 million people said they would move to America today if they were allowed to. And then the UN said when the whole poll was all said and done, it would average out to about 3.5 billion people out of the world's 8 billion would come live here. So that means 4 billion people would be living in our country, and there's 8 billion on the planet. And then people say, oh, well, America's done. Nobody wants to live there. Really? Half the fucking planet wants to live here, people.
Yeah. Why do you think there was so much illegal immigration crossings, particularly during the Biden, not because of open border policies, but because if they got here, they would at least get 3 squares a meal in a box to live in.
You know what, Denise, tomorrow we'll do, if Jay reminds me, we'll do the old world versus the new world. The former continent versus the future continent. Yes. The former continent, meaning fucking Europe, that's what, in Asia. And the African continent, because not South America, the Middle East is down. Look, people, y'all had the planet for 6,000 years. It's our turn. Get the fuck over it.
Mm-hmm.
It's our turn.
Damn.
No. And you know what? What is it? I think it's 1.3 billion. Before we go, Jay, ask Google how many people live in the Americas.
Hey, Google, how many people live in the Americas?
The population of the Americas is approximately 1.02 billion people.
Okay. So 1 billion people out of 8 billion people, 1 billion and barely 1 billion from what she said live in the new world where we have half the territory and all the resources. And only 1 billion of us live here. So 7 billion of you motherfuckers have been screwing around with the planet for 6,000 fucking years. It's our turn. You definitely can't fuck it up any more than y'all did. 2 world wars, countless other wars. I mean, really. So, give us our time. Just give us, China, you too. Give us our chance. And you know what, China? If we fuck up, you can walk right in and pick up the pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but give us our chance. And I'm not just talking about America or the USA. I'm talking about the Americas.
North, South, and Central America. Yep.
Well, the Mexico, United States, and Canada make up North America. I'm not going to argue with you about this. No, Mexico's in North America, but there's a little tiny piece of it in Central America, but the majority of it's in North America. I know people get confused by it all.
Central America is only like 4 or 5 countries, like Guatemala, Nicaragua, and maybe a couple others. That's it.
Yeah, and it's like a little piece from the bottom of Mexico to the top of South America.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can look at it. But anyway, I've been telling you for 8 minutes. We got to go. On that note, I want to thank everyone for tuning in to United Public Radio and News on the Flip Side. Jay, Sean, and I say good night, and we hope y'all enjoyed the show. Of course, if you don't, any moans, groans, bitches, or gripes, you can write to Michelle DeRoche at uprnradio@gmail.com. Courtesy of Gmail, y'all can write over there. On that note, I'm going to tell y'all good night, and I will see you tomorrow. And the Author Squirrel show is already published if you want to go check it out. And we already know there'll be at least 2 topics on the Insane Chat tomorrow. So good night. Oh, and be sure to write to Jeffrey Pritchard and tell him how much I love him and for coming by and hanging out. Even though we
tell
were
me he's come back.
Yeah.